price reach the sky. You're bringing the poverty while your own people cry. We born ya, we grow ya, we bleed for this land. But Andrew at the top won't extend the man. You talk about vision, you talk
Hold security now.
Still can't understand. Corruption report London, nobody charge. The people pocket small, but the scandal them large. Who's crack up parish council, bro? Country suffocate, done and it just smoke. And when we raise we voice, so call we political. But the truth is the truth, and the truth is biblical.
Police, time to go.
Time to go. The people,
Them say no.
we say no. 10 years and we can't take no more, you know hear us. We are knock on the door.
Police, time to go.
Time to go. From Kingston to Negri, the people say so. We tired, we hungry, we done with the show. All this our time to go. We no want no hype, we no want no speech. We want action, no, not the lies you preach. Hurricane victims still under tarpaulin. Prime Minister fly gone foreign. Your JLP cabinet full, but the people COVID empty. Oh, you live so large when we living so scanty. Not with fists, not with fire, but with voice. Them rising higher and higher. From every parish, every yard, every gate. Jamaica speaking and I know too late.
Police, time to go.
Time to go. The people,
Them say no.
we say no. 10 years and we can't take no more, you know hear us. We are not by the door.
Police, time to go.
Time to go. From Kingston to Negri, the people say so. We tired, we hungry, we done with the show. Oh, it's our time to go. 10 years, you say. 10 long years and look how Jamaica stay. No light, no road, no food, power. People are suffer while Andrew a live great. Hey, hey. You stand up on the platform, smile wide and 10 years, you say. 10 long years and look how Jamaica stay. No light, no road, no food, power. People are suffer while Andrew a live great. Hey, hey. You stand up on the platform, smile wide and proud. I tell we about prosperity, but we can't see it all now. Ha! Hurricane come through and left the people bare. 6 months later, them still out there, asleep under the air. Their JLP friends them build high rise, roads still full of wood. A whose pocket do I feel while the nation lose its soul? Hospital overflow, picnic can't get bed. School roof a leak, but you and Juliet well fed. You always have excuse, always pass the blame. Every time something wrong, it never go in your name. Jamaica a drown and you claim you're unclean. Biggest actor in a politics we ever see. Wholeness, time to go. Time to go. The people,
Them say no.
we say no. 10 years and we can't take no more, you know hear us. We are not on the door. Wholeness,
Time to go.
time to go. From Kingston to Negri, the people say so. We tired, we hungry, we done with the show. Wholeness, our time to go. Farmer can't afford to plant, food price reach the sky.
Anybody want that song? TikTok, see me number up on the screen. Right, that's up on the sticker. Anybody want that song? Link me. As a matter of fact, the song up on my TikTok. Yeah, man. With the post of the Tuesday, and the song there at the top of it. You can just download if you want it. TikTok, just go up on my video and download if you want it. Repost it, make it go viral. You hear that?
10 years, you say. 10 long years and look how Jamaica stay. No light, no road, no food, pan we plate. People are suffer while Andrew a live great. Hey, hey. You stand up on the platform, smile wide and proud. I tell we about prosperity, but we can't see it all now. Ha! Hurricane come through and left the people bare. 6 months later, them still out there. under the air. Your JLP friends them build high rise, road still full of war. House pocket to a field, while the nation lose its soul. Hospital overflow, picnic can't get bed. School roof a leak, but you and Juliet well fed. You always have excuse, always pass the blame. Every time something wrong, it never go in your name. Jamaica a drown and you claim you're unclean. Biggest actor in a politics we ever see. Boldness, time for go, time for go. The people, we say no. Yes, and we can't take no more, you know you're us. We are not on the door. Boldness, time for go, time for go. From Kingston to Negril, the people say so. We tired, we hungry, we done really show. Everybody! Farmer can't afford to plant, food price reach the sky. You're bringing the poverty while your own people cry. We born ya, we grow ya, we bleed for this land. But Andrew at the top won't extend the man. You talk about vision, you talk about plan. But 10 years later we still can't understand. Corruption report London, nobody charge. The people pocket small. 10 years you say. 10 long years and look how Jamaica stay. No light, no road, no food pan we plate. People are suffer while Andrew a live great. Hey, hey. You stand up on the platform, smile wide and proud. I tell we about prosperity, but we can't see it all now. Hurricane come through and left the people bare. 6 months later, them still out there, asleep under the air. Your JLP friends them build high rise, road still full of war. House pocket to a field, while the nation lose its soul. Hospital overflow, picnic can't get bed. School roof a leak, but you and Juliet well fed. You always have excuse, always pass the blame. Every time something wrong, it never go in your name. Jamaica a drown and you claim you're unclean. Biggest actor in
Pull your blossom again, blossom in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
10 years, you say. 10 long years and look how Jamaica stay. No light, no road, no food pan we plate. People are suffer while Andrew a live great. Hey, hey. You stand up on the platform, smile wide and proud. I tell we about prosperity, but we can't see it all now. Hurricane come through and left the people bare. 6 months later, them still out there, asleep under the air. Your JLP friends them build high rise, road still full of war. House pocket to a field, while the nation lose its soul. Hospital overflow, picnic can't get bed. School roof a leak, but you and Juliet well fed. You always have excuse, always pass the blame. Every time something wrong, it never go in your name. Jamaica a drown and you claim you're unclean. Biggest actor in a politics we ever see. Boldness, time for go, time for go. The people, we say no. 10 years and we can't take no more, you know you're us. We are not on the door. Boldness, time for go, time for go. From Kingston to Negril, the people say so. We tired, we hungry, we done really show. Boldness, time for go. Farmer can't afford to plant, food price reach the sky. You're bringing the poverty while your own people cry. We born ya, we grow ya, we bleed for this land. But Andrew at the top won't extend the man. You talk about vision, you talk about plan. But 10 years later we still can't understand. Corruption report London, nobody charge. The people pocket small, but the scandal them large. Who's crack up parish council, bro? Country suffocate, done and it just smoke. And when we raise revise, so call we political. But the truth is the truth, and the truth is biblical.
Police, time to go.
Time to go. The people,
Them say no.
we say no. 10 years and we can't take no more, you know hear us. We are knock on the door.
Police, time to go.
Time to go. From Kingston to Negri, the people say so. We tired, we hungry, we done with the show. All less our time to go. 10 years, you say. 10 long years and look how Jamaica stay. No light, no road, no food pan we plate. People are suffer while Andrew a live great. Hey, hey. You stand up on the platform, smile wide and proud. I tell we about prosperity, but we can't see it all now. Ha! Hurricane come through and left the people bare. 6 months later, them still out there, asleep under the air. Their GLP friends them build high rise, road still full of wood. House pocket to a fill, while the nation lose its soul. Hospital overflow, picnic can't get bed. School roof a leak, but you and Juliet well fed. You always have excuse, always pass the blame. Every time something wrong, it never go in your name. Jamaica a drown and you claim you're unclean. Biggest actor in a politics we ever see. Wholeness,
Time to go.
time to go. The people,
Them say no.
we say no. 10 years and we can't take no more, you know hear us. We are knock on the door. Wholeness,
Time to go.
time to go. From Kingston to Negri, the people say so. We tired, we hungry, we done with the show. Wholeness, time to go. Farmer can't afford to plant, food price reach the sky. You're bringing the poverty while your own people cry. We born ya, we grow ya, we bleed for this land. But Andrew at the top won't extend the man. You talk about vision, you talk about plan. But 10 years later, we still can't understand. Corruption report London, nobody charge. The people pocket small, but the scandal them large. Who's crack up parish council, bro? Country suffocate, done and it just smoke. And when we raise revise, so call we political. But the truth is the truth, and the truth is biblical.
Police, time to go.
Time to go. The people,
Them say no.
we say no. 10 years and we can't take no more, you know hear us. We are knock on the door.
Police, time to go.
Time to go. From Kingston to Negri, the people say so. We tired, we hungry, we done with the show. All less our time to go. We no want no hype, we no want no speech. We want action, no, not the lies you preach. Hurricane victims still under tarpaulin. Prime Minister fly gone foreign. Your JLP cabinet full, but the people cupboard empty. Oh, you live so large when we living so scanty. Not with fist, not with fire, but we fight them. Rising higher and higher. From every parish, every yard, every gate. Jamaica speaking and I know too late. Time to go. The people,
Them say no.
we say no. 10 years and we can't take no more, you know hear us. We are knock on the door.
Police, time to go.
Time to go. From Kingston to Negri, the people say so. We tired, we hungry, we done with the show. Oh, yes, our time to go. This one is for every Jamaican. We can't afford feet. We are sleep on cardboard. We are drive on broken road. The people don't forget. The people don't forgive. Enough is enough. Jamaicans will live.
Ladies and gentlemen, top of the morning, top of the night, top of the evening, top of the day, wherever you are in the world, globally. Shabada Bolo and I will in the space again. Today, we are going on an exploration mission. See? And it's the IC versus the Jamaica Labour Party. And it's not because the Integrity Commission shows violence. The Jamaica Labour Party that has chosen to constantly attack the Integrity Commission. And never said this flat out and clear. The Jamaica Labour Party is a bunch of cowards. I'm going to tell you why. They know that the IC cannot come out and defend themselves. They are absolute cowards. Please like and share the video. The way of the law states, the Integrity Commission cannot come out and talk about anything where cases are concerned. So yesterday when them discredit them and I try to discredit them and I say, oh, them not credible, and as long as it come from them and all of this nonsense, they know exactly what they're doing, because the Integrity Commission in this sense is their hands are tied behind their back and there's a tape over their mouth and there's an anchor upon their ankle and then show them underwater. So here walk one. This is a rescue mission for the truth, because the truth has been submerged underwater through legislation about the Integrity Commission and its findings. The Jamaica Labour Party want to let you know that, everything is wrong with them. They're amateur and all of these things. I'm want to shout out to Mystic Sensation, because him do a video the other day and him showing the credentials of the individuals that are a part of the Integrity Commission. These people are top tier, ladies and gentlemen. Top tier. No doubt about it. No look a willy-nilly person. The thing say, I like the FID when they take down the credentials of the individual for put in who they want to put in. Eh? Exactly. Them thank you so much. Last one, that's an excellent point. The Integrity Commission is credible when them charge a PMP. But when them put them findings, find a JLP member wanting, all of a sudden, everything wrong with the Integrity Commission. So here we go on. Me I go to the 2024 Integrity Commission Oversight Committee. Right? Me I go to this. And this was the last time Mr. Panton was in the parliament, right? And was asked and was answering questions. I'm going to go straight to it. See? I want to go straight to it because I'm telling you, it was absolutely epic, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely epic.
Okay, fine. Please go ahead.
Yes, a report that comes to Parliament is the report of the Director of Investigation. That's how it's done in the law. The law provides for the Director of Investigation to investigate and report. A report is passed to the Executive Director to be passed.
And the opportunity is here to say we did not get what we wanted, and to say that you were not able to conduct more research, as the case may be. So the oversight body is where the Commission has the opportunity to present its case openly, just like how we have the opportunity to ask, how do you operate? And I mean, if I might shift from that position to ask the question, a report that comes to Parliament, is that report the report of the Director of Investigation, or is it the report of the Commission? So, I mean, I know it is signed by Mr. Kevin Stevenson, but is it Mr. Kevin Stevenson, Director of Investigation's report, or has it been certified, checked by the Commission? Just first question.
Right. So, Chairman, I believe that the member Charles wants to make an intervention, but if it is that you wish to answer ahead of that, because I believe what he has to say will comport somewhat with the original question that Member Paulwell raised concerning the relationship between the Oversight Committee and the Commission and the power that the standing order gives it in relation to what the Act says at Section 6.3. So if you would allow him, yes? Yes, to ask you, so you would have the two questions to answer. Or if you wish to answer directly to this one and then you go to, okay, fine, please go ahead.
Yes, a report that comes to Parliament is the report of the Director of Investigation. That's how it's done in the law. The law provides for the Director of Investigation to investigate and to report. A report is passed to the Executive Director to be passed to the Commission. The Commission looks at the report and tries to ensure that there are no misstatements, but it's not the Commission's report as such. It is the Director of Investigation, and we, according to the law, are the body that are supposed to pass it on to Parliament. So it should not be thought that the report is one crafted by the commissioners. Not at all. But at the same time, we ensure to make sure that the Director of Investigation is acting within the law.
So that is an important clarification. The Integrity Commission, the Commission itself makes sure that the Director is acting within the law. The report itself is not necessarily can be said it's the Commission's report. No, it is the DI report. Listen again, because it's important to understand how things work, right? And I want question in the action of 2024. So you see this smearing campaign on the Integrity Commission, we are end that today now. We don't like and share this video now, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to end at the facts we are bringing to the table. All right?
Report is passed to the Executive Director to be passed to the Commission. The Commission looks at the report and tries to ensure that there are no misstatements, but it's not the Commission's report as such. It is the Director of Investigation, and we, according to the law, are the body that are supposed to pass it on to Parliament. So it should not be thought that the report is one crafted by the commissioners. Not at all. But at the same time, we ensure to make sure that the Director of Investigation is acting within the law. So it is one crafted by the... So we, according to the law, are the body that are supposed to pass it on to Parliament. So it should not be thought that the report is one crafted by the commissioners. Not at all. But at the same time, we ensure to make sure that the Director of Investigation is acting within the law.
So if the Director of Investigation has submitted a report to you, the commissioners or to the executive.
56 for the wording.
No, I want to thank you for that clarification, because I think that a lot of individuals in our society perhaps had a misunderstanding of the parameters within which one ought to operate in those kind of matters, particularly the matter as raised by Member Robinson. So you say 53.3 is followed by section 56 regarding the confidentiality of these matters prior to tabling. I have some other questions, Chairman, but I don't want to jump over. Mrs. Malou-Ford had a... Before you go to the next...
I'm seeing that Member Malou-Ford is not quite ready.
I just want to ensure that my other two questions are answered. The one related to the percentage of investigations that are referred to third parties and the rationale for that, and then in relation to the decision not to publish contracts and whether the Integrity Commission is open to independent legal advice on that particular provision, and to ask the specific provision in the Integrity Commission Act that the Integrity Commission has relied on to support its decision.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and committee members, we're happy to be here and to answer your questions. There are two matters I want to address. Member Chuck made a comment about reports being sent by the Director of Investigation to the Commission or to the Executive Director. The Executive Director has no substantive function when it comes to investigation reports. It's merely procedural. And the process is governed by Section 54(1) of the Integrity Commission Act, and I'll just read it. And it's important so that we can bring clarity to this thing, because I've also seen it on social media. The ED has absolutely no role to play when it comes to investigations. It says, on completion of an investigation, the Director of Investigation shall prepare and submit to the Commission, not to me, to the Commission, through the Executive Director, a report of his findings and recommendations. So it merely comes through me. And for clarity, and for full understanding, we can tell you what the process is. The Director of Investigation sends me the report. It's password protected in case it gets somewhere, but it comes to me by electronic means. Once I receive it, literally within minutes, and this applies to all the reports I've gotten over the past nearly 5 years, I send it to all 5 commissioners by email. And then via another means, which I will not disclose, I send the password. And that's all I do. He sends to me, and I send to all the commissioners, and I copy him so that he knows that it has been sent to the commissioners. And he would have provided me with the password by another means, and I will send that password to the commissioners. That's all I do. And then once the commissioners decide, in keeping with Section 54(4), that the report should be tabled into Parliament, they instruct me to proceed. And then the cover letters that you see, which accompany the investigation reports, I sign on behalf of the Commission. That's it. So, Member Chuck, I hope that clears it up. So it's not that it comes to me or the Commission. It's always going to the Commission, but through me. The third question that Member Robbins asked, I can address that. Member Robbins asked about the QCA reports. These are quarterly contract award reports. I had developed that concept back in 2006 when I was Contractor General. And the Office of the Contractor General during my tenure and subsequent to the end of my tenure, under the stewardship of Mr. Dirk Harrison, had continued to publish these on a quarterly basis. And I can tell you that up to now, in 2024, so it's 2006 to 2024, we're still getting the information from public sector agencies. And a report on that is actually the Director of Investigation, under whose portfolio that falls, still reports on it. Because remember, the Director of Investigation has assumed all the functions that the former Contractor General had. So public bodies, you'll be happy to hear, still provide that information on a routine basis, but we don't publish the database as we used to. And we stopped publishing it after we consulted among ourselves within the Commission as to whether or not the continuation of the publication of the database would violate Section 56. Now, Member Robinson, you said 53. 53 doesn't concern the QC, it's 56. And we hear references to the gag clause, which is 53.3, which speaks to a prohibition not to talk about investigations until the report they're on a table in Parliament. But the thing about it, the irony about it, is that Section 56.1 is much wider in its purview than 53.3. If you didn't have 53.3 under 56.1, you couldn't do what 53.3 says you can't do. So it's 56. That's a relevant section, and I'll read it for you. Subject to Section 42.3b, and 42.3b is a section which requires the Commission to publish the annual summary statutory declarations, or a summary of the statutory declarations of the Leader of the Opposition and the Prime Minister. So it says, subject to that, every person having an official duty under this Act, which means all of us, commissioners and employees, or being employed or otherwise concerned in the administration of this Act, hereinafter called a concerned person, shall regard and deal with as secret and confidential. Then it specifically addresses certain categories of items, and then it has a catch-all, or what lawyers will know as a est justem generis clause. It says, shall regard and deal with as secret and confidential all information, statutory declarations, government contracts, prescribed license, and all other matters relating to any matter before the Commission, except that no disclosure made by the Commission or other concerned persons in the proceedings for an offence under this Act or under the Perjury Act by virtue of Section 17.2 of that Act shall be deemed inconsistent with any duty imposed by this section. So in a nutshell, what it does is that it prohibits, or it requires all employees of the Commission and the Commissioners to regard as secret and confidential any of the matters listed here, including government contracts, or any other matter which is before the Commission. Now, I've heard talk that a matter is only before the Commission if, and it goes on. But it's very clear. It says any information dealing with statutory declarations, government contracts, license, or any other matter before the Commission shall be treated as secret and confidential. And subsection 3 of that section makes it a criminal offense, punishable by fine or imprisonment for any of us to do that. Now, Chair, I agree with Member Robinson.
Jamaica, we hear that? I open our listening now. This is a class and you listen. So the Integrity Commission under 56.1 or 56A where you talk. Them cannot talk about nothing in regards to nothing what them investigate. So the Integrity Commission is mum. The evidence, whatever they put out, that have to speak for itself. Right? So they have to be very careful, and there's a prisoner fine business about it. So the Integrity Commission can come out and defend themselves. No more and go to this famous clip right here. And then come back to that. Check this out.
The services of Jamaicans to maintain poverty. I talk long. All right, all right. I see the anticipation. I hear without saying to you that corruption is that a government has not been without its challenges. I couldn't leave the stage without saying to you that corruption is not an issue that occupies the front of my mind. I couldn't leave here today and say to you that we still need to tighten up on the new anti-corruption systems and framework that is in place. In a sense, if you were to compare Jamaica to all the other countries in the Caribbean, our framework for anti-corruption would be the most advanced.
What can go so?
Our framework for anti-corruption would be the most advanced.
I'm dead.
Caribbean. Our framework for anti-corruption would be the most advanced.
Emotional damage.
If you were to compare Jamaica to all the other countries in the Caribbean, our framework for anti-corruption would be the most advanced.
Embarrassing. He needs some milk.
Our framework for anti-corruption would be the most advanced. It is not for want of putting in the legislative and institutional processes. They are there. But you have to bear in mind that we are also very new on the scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so we can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources.
New Viva 300.
I say I could have fight the advertisement, yeah. Advertisement, the worst timing. I have to play that back all the way through.
Corruption is not an issue that occupies the front of my mind. I couldn't leave here today and say to you that we still need to tighten up on the new anti-corruption systems and framework that is in place. In a sense, if you were to compare Jamaica to all the other countries in the Caribbean, our framework for anti-corruption would be the most advanced. It is not for want of putting in the legislative and institutional processes. They are there. But you have to bear in mind that we are also very new on the scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs.
Fully done.
Jamaica, based off what Andrew Wallace just said a while ago, anywhere the Integrity Commission has fallen short in its duties, the government is to be blamed. And you heard the praises that Andrew Wallace sang. He was very clear on this day, 2019, 6 years ago, or 7 years ago, what exactly the government needed to do to ensure that the Integrity Commission grew and got better. At that time, it was the best in the entire Caribbean. It has everything it needed. And he explained what the government needed to do. And he also took a shot at the opposition. Leave the Integrity Commission alone to do their job. 3 years later, or 2 years later, or 2 days later, the Integrity Commission comes out with a report for Andrew Wallace. And the entire government has turned their backs on them. Fast forward to 2026, Dr. Wheatley. And now they have gone full-blown assault on the credibility of the Integrity Commission. I'm going to play again what Andrew said, what the government need to do. I'm going to play it again. Make this just soak in a little bit. Listen to what he said.
What I will say to you today, this government has not been without its challenges. I couldn't leave this stage without saying to you that corruption is not an issue that occupies the front of my mind. I couldn't leave here today and say to you that we still need to tighten up on the new anti-corruption systems and framework that is in place. In a sense, if you were to compare Jamaica to all the other countries in the Caribbean, our framework for anti-corruption would be the most advanced. It is not for want of putting in the legislative and institutional processes. They are there. But you have to bear in mind that we are also very new on the scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve.
What is important is that the government supports the Integrity Commission so it can accelerate quickly on that learning curve. So Andrew Wallace's government been in power since then. They understood clearly what the assignment was. So any failure again, ladies and gentlemen, any failure again of the Integrity Commission is their fault. It is their fault. All right.
And provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs.
So he made it very clear. Leave them to do their jobs, and the government needs to provide the resources so they are able to do their jobs effectively. This is Andrew Wallace, 2019, full speech at the Jamaica Labour Party conference in 2019. Fast forward to 2026 and an interview with
any special assignment. A minister must have assigned. There is no specialist minister, and I think that you're a minister, meaning you're a servant of the, so this is always under review.
Yes.
Always.
And you have some senior veterans now who
Precisely.
are looking at the departure.
So as Prime Minister, I have to look at succession planning. I have to look at training. I have to look at giving people exposure. I have to create a nursery of leadership, and I have to
Sorry about that, guys. Wrong one. This is the wrong one here. Sorry about that. I believe this is the one.
has yet been preferred. We will expect to see Minister Wheatley there, and we will have a full. You are assigned. There's no specialist or not to serve.
Yes.
So this is always
partly by those problems you're having.
So even things that haven't come to the public for,
yes,
would also make me look to see where would be the best place for someone to serve or not to serve.
Yes.
So this is always under review.
Yes.
Always.
And you have some senior veterans now who
Precisely.
are looking at the departure.
So, so as a Prime Minister, I have to look at succession planning. I have some discussion with him. I have my confidence in the work that the
government.
You know, the charges that are suggested or recommended are serious charges. Now, the challenge, of course, is that no charge has yet been preferred. We will. I'm going to leave here, run back to cabinet.
Define it now. Sorry about that.
In advance.
So that is what.
And she would have suggested, in the sense of the TCN, the workers, take them for a year, and they're figuring out what, and so the operational details are still being negotiated at this time.
How did that issue of
Minister
Marks
so let me quickly,
making it into
let me quickly
a
explain,
diplomatic note?
Let me quickly explain. United States or to whichever other countries, we are not at that point. Explain that. So right now.
So that is what Ambassador Minister
And
Marks would have shared with the Americans?
I think she would have shared with them a strategy of structured migration where Jamaicans could get to go to the United States, because my understanding of it is that Minister Marks attended an event in the United States on my behalf, an event sponsored by, I believe it was the Shield of the Americas, if I'm not mistaken. And she attended on my behalf, and she would have suggested. So today, I'm going to have a fulsome discussion with him. I have read the report briefly, the Office of the Prime Minister, by the attorneys as to always something that I must do. Yes, always.
Yes. And this
not just now. Jamaicans are unemployed, but within that are persons seeking jobs, persons who have changed, if I'm not mistaken. And just with our training, you could take them for half of the year and they can come back, or you could take them for a year and they come back. It is a structured arrangement. Right now, we are pursuing structured arrangements with Ghana and Nigeria and India and I believe the Philippines for nurses. We have had a structured migration program with Cuba, where we have had the Cuban doctors for many years and nurses.
So tell me, Mr. Prime Minister.
So we are looking to expand that structured migration program. So Jamaicans can go, foreigners can come, but we are not at that point yet.
Okay.
Yes.
But given the recent history,
can somebody send me the clip? You look like them take it down. Come like them take it down. This is interesting. The clip with Andrew are saying non-confidence in the Integrity Commission. Right this? Yo, I can't believe this. I take the man and take down the video, yo. No, man. That's why I like do something for my TikTok and document something, you know. You should have documented, you know. This is insane. Where is the video of him saying that there needs to be some changes on the Integrity Commission? That's the video I'm looking for. But the only videos I see is this one. PM Andrew Holness tell people to consider changes to political executive. Andrew Holness intend to meet with the Dr. Wheatley. Commission ruling, blah, blah, blah. No, man. Something wrong with someone.
What is stated in the report. I do, however, feel...
His attorneys or your attorneys or the government's attorneys?
The party's attorneys.
Oh,
yeah.
all the parties involved.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the charges that are suggested or recommended are serious charges. Now, the challenge, of course, is that no charge has yet been preferred on him. So, until that point, we will observe the situation. Today, I'm going to leave here, run back to cabinet. I expect to see Minister Wheatley there, and we will have a fulsome discussion with him directly on the report and what to expect in the future.
Or yourself, man. If you don't take it down, that on no. Thank God for other platforms. You understand? Thank God for everybody that is checking out everything that is going on with this case. Let me see if I do this one.
Yes, but it can be used, you understand, to say, okay, all right, if we are going to make these people citizens, it's simple. If they become citizens, they now have the right to vote.
On the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere, and that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs.
Lies that they told about FID, you understand, and how they're trying.
Does he still retain your confidence as a cabinet minister?
Dr. Wheatley retains my confidence in the work that he has been doing in the Office of the Prime Minister, particularly in AI and cyber and these other areas. As it relates to the report that was tabled on him, I have read the report briefly. I have not a chance to go through it. I do intend to be briefed by the attorneys as to exactly what is stated in the report. I do, however, feel...
His attorneys or your attorneys or the government's attorneys?
The party's attorneys.
Oh,
yeah.
all the parties involved.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the charges that are suggested or recommended are serious charges. Now, the challenge, of course, is that no charge has yet been preferred on him. So, until that point, we will observe the situation. Today, I'm going to leave here, run back to cabinet. I expect him directly.
Given what happened and reappointed him.
So you will recall that in the Petrojam affair, there was any report or anything ongoing then. The Integrity Commission is a necessary issue about investigation. It seems to me that the PMP would know more about investigations ongoing than I do.
And that raises the issue. Do you have confidence in the Integrity Commission?
Let me make sure so me record this to you. Because you can't believe so me can't find it. Wagwan Asgold, you got yourself Colin, Island Girl, Linford, no, not Linford, Lincoln, big up yourself Lincoln. Thank you guys for being here. Share up the live for me. Alright. Let me just yeah, I definitely need to record this. I don't want to not have this again. Alright, so big up Mystic Sensation.
The PMP would know more about investigations ongoing. I am not aware of investigations that are ongoing. It seems to me that the PMP would know more about investigations ongoing than I do.
And that raises the issue. Do you have confidence in the Integrity Commission?
The Integrity Commission is a necessary agency to tackle corruption in Jamaica. I believe there are changes that are necessary for it to become more effective.
You haven't said yes or no.
I believe there are changes to make it more effective.
So as of this moment, do you have confidence in it?
I believe there are changes that are necessary.
It needs fixing.
Precisely. And this is not just my opinion. I believe.
So
it needs funding, not fixing, funding.
Yes.
So Jamaica, you heard Andrew for yourself. Andrew only said that they need fixing. Because I took so long to find that clip, I need to refresh those who are here memory of what Andrew only said about the Integrity Commission in 2019.
This government has not been without its challenges. I couldn't leave this stage without saying to you that corruption is not an issue that occupies the front of my mind. I couldn't leave here today and say to you that we still need to tighten up on the new anti-corruption systems and framework that is in place. In a sense, if you were to compare Jamaica to all the other countries in the Caribbean, our framework for anti-corruption would be the most advanced. It is not for want of putting in the legislative and institutional processes. They are there. But you have to bear in mind that we are also very new on the scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs.
So, listening to Andrew honestly, ladies and gentlemen, it is clear. Again, whatever fault is of the Integrity Commission in their operations, it would be the fault of the government. Because he knows that they are the ones who would have to give them the resources necessary to function effectively. Right? So, them putting down the Integrity Commission is really them putting down themselves. And tell me if you agree with me, based off of the evidence so far. Not true, Momo. Them putting down the Integrity Commission is literally them putting down their own government. Because they are the ones in power. If it was a situation where it was the People's National Party in power and Andrew was the opposition and the Integrity Commission was, in their opinion, not handling their job how they're supposed to, they could point blame to the PNP and say, well,
In the meantime,
you guys are the one that are the government. Why aren't you giving the Integrity Commission the resources they need to do their jobs effectively? Makes sense, don't it? Let me see. See you there.
Stranger to being the odd man out, a JLP MP has come to the defense of Dr. Andrew Wheatley, who has been recommended for corruption charges following a report by the Integrity Commission. The MP argues that due process must be followed. Jamila Maitland reports.
Member of Parliament for St. Catherine Southwestern, Everald Warmington, has come out in support of the embattled government minister, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, following a damning Integrity Commission report. The IC's report recommended that 4 charges be brought against Dr. Wheatley, chief among them illicit enrichment.
Integrity Commission, does it still have credibility? Jamaicans don't believe in them. Jamaicans don't listen to them. Why do I say so? It is known that they are biased in whatever they are doing.
Mr. Warmington, who's been a strong critic of the commission, argues that the agency is targeting the government members of parliament.
They never see anything that is said by about the other party in the time at all. Secondly, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. Okay? They wrote this nonsense. Nobody knows if it's correct. Okay?
It's funny how he's talking nonsense, Ascol, and then telling us that the Integrity Commission wrote nonsense. Nobody knows if it's incorrect or correct. Then if nobody knows, how are you commenting on it? You are nobody as well. He's nobody. So how is he commenting on it?
So
He's correct though.
no, they don't. What they're saying about with Dr. Wheatley, who knows if those things are correct? They can write anything. Dr. Wheatley, give him a chance to prove his innocent.
Michael Phillips was fined a late fee by the Integrity Commission for missing the deadline for filing his statutory declarations. Ian Hales' matter was referred to the Commissioner of Police to investigate further for forgery. When our news team contacted the Corporate Communications Unit at the JCF, no one was aware of any active investigation. Unlike Dr. Wheatley, neither opposition MPs were investigated for illicit enrichment. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness acknowledged the detailed report, but
In the meantime, now based on the allegations that you've seen, do you think it's appropriate for the minister to step aside?
Is he guilty of anything? Give him a chance to prove himself. If it came from somewhere else, maybe, but not from the Integrity Commission, because no credibility.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness acknowledged the detailed report by the IC, but says he too has confidence in Dr. Wheatley. During an interview on Nationwide News Network, the Prime Minister said he's to meet with Dr. Wheatley on Monday, June 22 to discuss the report. He did stress that there were no charges yet brought against him. Almost a week after the report was tabled in the Parliament, checks made by our newsroom revealed that Dr. Wheatley has not been charged. As of Tuesday, June 23, our news team understand that Dr. Andrew Wheatley is still a part of Cabinet. Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
So, Dr. Wheatley has credibility, but Integrity Commission, the entire body, does not. All right, so we see the clear attacks on the Integrity Commission. Let's go back to the actual ins and outs of how the Integrity Commission operate.
That this section is drafted much too wide, and perhaps it was not the intention of Parliament for it to capture so many things. And we have addressed that in our proposals for an amendment to the Act. And so we share your position on that, because a lot of things about this provision runs contrary to Jamaica's treaty obligations on the United Nations Convention against Corruption, and also the Inter-American Convention against Corruption, which spawned our Corruption Prevention Act. And we have said that in our recommendations to Parliament, the Joint Select Committee and this committee, in terms of a proposal to have this amended, it's too wide. We understand that there must be a balance. Some things must be considered sensitive and confidential and kept that way. But this goes too far, and we have submitted that.
So you heard that. The Integrity Commission has submitted recommendations for amendment to the Act. And guess where they do this, ladies and gentlemen? In the annual report of every single year. They have an annual report. Every single year. We're going to get to the annual report. I'm telling you, this is a teachable moment, This is about me I lay down the foundation and the basis of everything, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue.
So it now comes to the question as to, opinions. Now, as you go through this piece of legislation, as all of us had, and I found innumerable.
And the other thing we need to remember, Andrew only passed this legislation, and now he's telling us that the Integrity Commission is weak and the Integrity Commission needs to be adjusted. But from 2019 till now, did his government make any adjustment? Did his government take any of the recommendations of the Integrity Commission? Those are the questions that we are here to answer this evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Several instances of what you call conflicts of law. I lectured law for 10 years. And it's not unusual for pieces of legislation to have clear conflicts of law. And Mr. Chairman, perhaps one of the reasons why it's very important to have this process and the Joint Select Committee process, where we review the legislation to identify those possible conflicts, where you're looking at things that this could never be. You pointed out one earlier, Section 63A, which says that the Commission is subject to the direction of any authority. And I gather that someone else on that side is saying something else. These are clear conflicts. Yes, same act. And so it's important that these things are brought to light. And the Parliament, through you and discussion with us, give an opportunity to review them and decide exactly what is it that Parliament wants, and then to amend the law. You're going to have conflicting interpretations. We've heard one, that sort of thing. But I think these are provisions which are ripe for consideration, and they are ripe for review and amendment, for Parliament to reflect actually what it is that they want. But as our chairman said, we believe in the rule of law, and we try to reflect that in our work. And as I said, we did not just get up one day and say that we're going to stop publishing the databases. That database has over, I think, $250,000 contract award entries, running into over $1 trillion. Someone pointed out on social media recently that the GoJEP site replaces that. It can't. Our database, they have been tracking contracts to award it from May 1, 2006, and that's almost 20 years. And it's freely searchable by any member of parliament, any member of the public. No member of the public can just go on the GoJEP site and search for contracts. In any event, they won't find it going back to 2006. Only the Integrity Commission, having assumed the responsibilities and all the data and resources coming from the Office of the Contractor General, has that information in its repository. And it's very important. It's a great tool for transparency because it tells the taxpayer how their money is being spent. If public body A, you want to track all the contracts it has awarded since 2006 up to now to a particular contractor, you can get it like that, and it tells you everything. You can put in all sorts of permutations in your searches. So
just a follow-up on this, as have all your questions been? All right, let's have that.
To the third question, Chairman, through you, Member Robinson has asked for the percentage of cases that have been referred to external entities, as well as what is the rationale for referring matters or not. I just did a quick calculation over the...
All right, so the volume on this thing is not good for my people over here. It's a bit low, I believe. So let me carry it over to OBS.
So just a follow-up on this, as have all your questions been? All right, let's have that. For Rwanda to Jamaica, and he's passing through, and I did make it for 12 o'clock because we had hope for a 2-hour meeting. Yes, and so I will excuse myself to meet with him, and member.
To the third question, Chairman, through you, Member Robinson has asked for the percentage of cases that have been referred to external entities.
Section 56 or Section 53(3), if it is that they were under investigation and published that information. All right? Because we have clarified that members of parliament under investigation would be in breach of the confidentiality in this act if they spoke of it. But would it be relating to Section 53(3) or 56, in your opinion, Mr. Christie?
I'm sorry, just to indicate, members, that I do have an appointment with the non-resident ambassador for Rwanda to Jamaica, and he's passing through, and I did make it for 12 o'clock because we had hope for a 2-hour meeting. Yes, and so I will myself to meet with him, and Member Chuck will assume the chair until my return. Proceed, Member.
I had asked a question, Chairman, a very important question for me to understand.
Yes, Chair. Member Charles, I think it's a fair question in the circumstances, given the language of both provisions, as to does it prohibit just members of the Commission, employees of the Commission, or does it extend to other persons? The Commission actually issued a statement with respect to Section 53(3) the other day, when there were some reports from at least one media house about our investigation reports, which had not yet been tabled in Parliament. One report. And the point that the Commission made was this. It says, and this is what it highlighted. I'll read the entire section and tell you what we were highlighting. Onto the table in Parliament of a report under Section 36, all matters on investigation by the Director of Investigation or any other person involved in such investigation shall be kept confidential, and no report or public statement shall be made by the Commission or any other person, in relation to the initiation or conduct of investigation in this act. So it's or any other person.
Including members of parliament.
Well, what was Parliament's intention? Parliament wrote the law, or any other person.
So what I was asking, Mr. Christie, not to stop you, but I'm under constraint of time, and that's my follow-up to Member Robinson's question, but I haven't posed my question yet. So we are clear now. Members of parliament on the investigation would be in breach of the confidentiality if they were to expose
That's not
it.
my response.
Okay, guys, what is your response? What is your response?
I told you my response. I simply said that we issued a statement which alludes to this phrase, or any other person. You can interpret.
Okay, so let me make it clear. Members of the IC and any other person.
That's what the law says.
Ought not to speak of these matters until they are tabled.
That's what.
Thank you for that. Now on to my question.
No, I don't think you're finished. You also asked the same question with respect to section 56.
No, well, what I asked originally was whether you would find the constraint on a member of parliament within section 56 or within section 53.3. But you went on to provide commentary on a statement made by the IC around it, which was useful. But you haven't told me if it is that a member of parliament specifically would be constrained while under investigation in 56 or 53.3.
Member Charles, you've asked a question and I provided my answer. All I'm telling you is that the law was written by Parliament, and I think Parliament is the appropriate.
Your answer is sufficient. No problem. Answer is sufficient. But let me go on to my.
So Jamaica, already, what one at press already here saying in this. Thank you, Mr. Splash Jimmy. No, so in a year support. So we make sure to put it on the audience cards and turn it up to about 300%. But the question I'm asking now, based off of the law says, and any other person, the information should be confidential by the Integrity Commission and individuals and any other person. The man has said, brother, and me write the law. You guys wrote the law. You guys passed the law. So you are the lawmakers. You are the best person to tell me what was the intention of the parliament when they write the law. You understand? Somebody said, I am mute. How am I mute? TikTok, you can hear me? TikTok, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? If you can't hear me, put a one in the chat. But what may I say? They are the ones that write the law. So how you have to come ask the Integrity Commission to interpret the law for you that you wrote? Make it make sense. You are the lawmakers. And if there's something in the law that needs clarity, you have the power to clear it up and make it more precise. And this goes to what I wanted Will Rattigan to cover, but I know I'm very busy. I don't think he'll cover it today on him show. He tell me, say, I'm not going to do it still about. I know he's a busy man and have a whole heap of things, a whole heap of hot topics right now. But when he does, I want him to explore the answer because I've been looking for the answer for that particular debate where the members of parliament debated the Integrity Commission Act and decided on what was actually a loophole, and if they would leave the loophole in the act itself, because it's unfair to the Integrity Commission, for anti-owners and the government to be attacking them. They are the one that passed the law. They are the one that said this is good. So now that they are in hot water, right, with the Integrity Commission, now they want to lambast and tear down the Integrity Commission. It is unjust. It is unfair. And they are... Huh? No, mommy. No. Cannot do that. So the Integrity Commission, ladies and gentlemen, it is unfair to the Integrity Commission for these individuals to come now and attack them. You guys wrote the law. Anything wrong with the Integrity Commission Act that needs to be passed, the Parliament can debate it and pass it and have those amendments done. Right? all the aim of the Jamaica Labour Party is to destroy the Integrity Commission altogether. Because remember, Andrew Honest is the one, and anybody want to challenge me on this, please. Any of you in the comment section, any of you lab rats want to challenge me, please just say the word out there. Just type it in the comment section, please. And I will pull up the evidence. Andrew Honest wants to remove the section of the act that deals with illicit enrichment. That is like, there's a law. Imagine there's a law for you to be locked up for unaliving somebody. And you're a lawmaker. And you as a lawmaker is telling the judge, listen, this law that would make me guilty, please remove it. Or make me look guilty, please remove the law. Because I don't want to be investigated. This is our Prime Minister. That's what he done. Simply put, let's continue.
The clock, we're watching it. Chairman, I think that the matters before us today and the discussion and the report and issues relating to the Integrity Commission ought to receive more than the time that we have allocated to it. It is of great importance. But I want to say this. Thank you for the clarity in relation to any other person. That includes members of Parliament. But let me go to what I see as an insightful and thought-provoking opening from our chairman of the Integrity Commission this morning, who it is an honor for me to be in the position to listen carefully to what the Honorable Justice Panton said. And he has made a statement to the nation which is very clear and which causes me to have deep concern. It is evident the frustration expressed by the chair in relation to perhaps the perceptions around the Integrity Commission. And it is concerning to me of the impact that might have in terms of the operations. Nevertheless, I want to join with Chairman Panton in his, one, highlighting that our Prime Minister has given full support to the Integrity Commission, and acknowledging even the commentary of the Prime Minister in terms of how he views the Commission and how he views the importance of its objective. It's important to put that on note so that the public can know that that is the feeling of the Integrity Commission in relation to the Prime Minister's stance. Secondly, I want to acknowledge the strong rebuke of any statements that contribute negatively to how our society sees the Integrity Commission or sees even our engagement. And matter of fact, the specific words were such statements that fuel a sort of mood among sycophants and that focus on the society that we live in, and that we need to understand persons. We have to be careful of what we say. And in that context, even though this was not the intention when I stepped into the Parliament this morning, but because of the statements, I'm compelled to ask of the Commission's perspective in that context on statements that have been made by the Executive Director in September 2023, when, following the unfortunate incident on Director Evans, we heard a response saying, you should ask the government that, ask them what it means. I note the response in writing, the explanation, but I would like to know objectively, and this is not an attack. In this space, we should be able to have honest, open conversation, and the country wants to know this. So let us put it to rest today. What, Chairman Panton, is your perspective on those comments from our Executive Director following such a significant and unfortunate incident? Do you consider those statements to be statements that you would categorize as such that fuel a sort of mood among sycophants, and statements within the category that we should be careful of because of how the society would view them? Chairman, I'm very interested in knowing that. And in that vein, I have other issues, but I will answer Chairman that first and then move to the other matter.
So, ladies and gentlemen, remember that The individual who he's talking about, he got shot at. And on the news clip, he said, ask the government that. Them vexed because it was PNP write the law and them run with it. No, but they cannot be vexed, brother. Because remember, they had 49 seats, you know, and they were in power. So they could have amended the law in areas where they thought there were gaps. This is why I want to get my hand on the Hansard. This is why, you know. But when as soon as I get my hands on that, oh man, I'm coming on here and we are going through it. But trust me, there's more today. Like and share the live, ladies and gentlemen. This is not one of those lives where it's about people listening. And if you want to see, come over to Bolo TVV. If you want to see what I'm seeing and not just hear it, come over to BOLO TVV on YouTube. So BOLO space TVV. You can see what's happening on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Not just here. If you want to have that more engagement, as opposed to definitely, are they going to destroy it to suit themselves? That is their intention, obviously.
Yes, Chairman. Not really, in an argumentative mood today. I'm in a very docile mood today. I'm surprised that statement by the executive director has been raised again. The fact of the matter is that those of us who are on the commission were in a position then, at the time of the incident, to understand why the executive director reacted as he did. Now, there were some very serious security concerns. I don't want to go in depth, but I have to say, because I have been asked, that Commissioner Anderson, Commissioner of Police Anderson, gave certain instructions to one of his senior members, and those instructions were not carried out.
Jamaica. Basically, the Integrity Commission, you know, the job that they do, they need to have security. It is mandatory. It's one of those jobs where their life will be in danger. They are investigating high-profile people, digging into their finances. They have millions of dollars. They can go ahead and just pay some criminals to come out. They can even pay police or soldiers that are corrupt to come after the Integrity Commission individuals. There's many different scenarios that can play out where they would be a target and their lives would be in danger based off the nature of their job. Therefore, they are supposed to get regular security detail. In this instance, things were heating up and they asked for increased security detail because it wasn't enough. All right? So, on the day when the gentleman was shot at, and Flash Digi, if you can find that clip, when they did go after the man and the briefcase and when the interview said, send it to me right now on WhatsApp. But let's continue.
Had those instructions been carried out, the incident may well not have happened. Not really, in an argumentative mood today. I'm in a very docile mood today. I'm surprised that statement by the executive director has been raised again. The fact of the matter is that those of us who are on the commission were in a position then, at the time of the incident, to understand why the executive director reacted as he did. Now, there were some very serious security concerns. I don't want to go in depth, but I have to say, because I have been asked, that Commissioner Anderson, Commissioner of Police Anderson, gave certain instructions to one of his senior members, and those instructions were not carried out. Had those instructions been carried out, the incident may well not have happened in respect of Director Evans. And in fact, Mr. Chairman, as a result of the disregard of the instructions of Commissioner of Police Anderson, I had to write a letter to the Prime Minister of Jamaica, copied to the Minister of National Security, exactly 1 week before this incident. And there's much more I could say, but the reaction by the ED was, to our mind, understandable. I leave it at that.
So, based off the series of events that took place, Mr. Panton is backing up the executive director when he said this, when the incident happened. I found it, guys. I found it. Remember this?
What's your thoughts on the shooting?
You should ask the government that.
Right, so what does it mean, sir?
Ask them what that means.
What's your thoughts on the shooting?
You should ask the government that.
Right, so what does it mean, sir?
Ask them what that means. I'm going to have a staff meeting. We're coming from the hospital. The incident happened probably about 10:30, and we went up to the hospital. These are some of our directors. Director Kevin Civil Server, Director of Investigation, Director Craig Beresford, Director of Information and Complaints, and Corporate Services Director. So we're just getting back in.
I'm sure this came as a shock to you, sir.
It's an attack on the Integrity
No.
Commission? It's not a shock?
No. It would be inevitable based upon environment within which we're operating.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
No, but we have gotten veiled threats.
So you have been getting threats?
A lot of it is on social media. Our chairman actually spoke about it on it. Yeah.
Is there any consideration for security at this time?
Well, we have private security now.
Is this
No, this is as of today. Yeah.
Sad, sir.
Well, we have private security now.
Is this
No, this is as of today. Yeah.
Sad, sir. Sad. Thank you for talking to us, sir.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard the ED, well, the former ED. The man said to ask the government. The Integrity Commission has been getting several threats. Right? Several threats. Okay? And it is the responsibility of the government to protect the Integrity Commission officials, given the nature of their job. You hear the man say, I'm not surprised. The nature of the job, he's not surprised. Another thing he said at the end there is that they now have private security. Before they didn't. Basically, what happened is that the Integrity Commission has lost trust in the government, protecting them. I just want to establish that, At this point, they lost trust in the government. And who can blame them? It had to be somebody in the government, right, that stopped the order from the gentleman to send security for the Integrity Commission. And 1 week before they didn't get the security, he wrote to the office of the Prime Minister and to the Minister of National Security. You would think that something like that would set a precedence of importance where the government is concerned in protecting these individuals. So it's quite clear to me, I don't know about you guys, but all of this is a failure of the government. This man almost lost his life, the ED, because of the government failure. It doesn't matter which way you want to look at it. Whether you want to look at it indirectly or directly, it is the government's fault. The failure of the Integrity Commission to carry out its work, ladies and gentlemen, right? In terms of having the resources and everything to be efficient. All the things that the Prime Minister talked about in the video that I played earlier. He understood in 2019 that his government needed to support the Integrity Commission. Do you guys remember Warmington? Do you guys remember Warmington coming and saying that the Integrity Commission is getting too much money and they need to explain the money? Do you remember him talking about where's the audit of the Integrity Commission? Do you guys remember that? And he was embarrassed by Mr. Panton or one of the members because he said it is quite clear that you guys don't read the annual reports, which again, we are going to read the annual reports. I am setting the stage, ladies and gentlemen. Follow me. I know this is one of those university classes type of vibe where it can be boring, you can be lost in the many details of it. I hope that I am bringing the information across where everybody, even the baby that's listening to me right now, can understand what is actually going on with this situation, with the Integrity Commission and the government and their relationship. What is the role of the government, right? And what is the role of the Integrity Commission and how they communicate with each other, right? Marjorie, big up yourselves. Yeah, they do everything back way, but all right. So I like to liken things to relationship because most people will be able to relate. So gentlemen and ladies, listen to me. If you have a spouse and your spouse does not show any interest in your relationship, I mean, through action, not just words. So he said, baby, I love you, but he or she doesn't spend time with you. Baby, I always got your back. But when it comes on to important things that are important to you, your spouse is never there. You understand what I'm saying? That is the government of Jamaica when it comes on to the Integrity Commission. He says the Integrity Commission is the best. It has the best framework, anti-corruption framework in the Caribbean. There's still some things that need to be tightened and adjusted. That is in 2019, and all we need to do as the government is to support them and give them the resources and leave them to do their job. And then in 2022, whenever Andrew Wallace's Integrity Commission report came out, the entire Jamaica Labour Party itself and its supporters started a smear campaign on the Integrity Commission to destroy their credibility. But the only one's credibility they're destroying is the government for any well-thinking person. Because again, who wrote the law? Who passed the law for the Integrity Commission Act? The government. Any weakness in the act itself is the government's fault because they have the power to change the act. Anything, any amendment where they need to change to make it better, they have the power to do it. So from 2019 till now, Andrew Wallace recognized that there were gaps, you might say, in the Integrity Commission Act. As impressive as it might have been to him, stated him, this is his words, right? It's the best anti-corruption framework in the entire Caribbean, but it's young and it needs some more support. Then what happened to the support? Why haven't they gotten the support? Melody Crooks, big up. Why haven't they gotten the support from the government? After Andrew Wallace's Integrity Commission report come out, it has been all out smear campaign, Lorraine. 100%. No love for the Integrity Commission. That's exactly what it has been. But let's continue. There's more.
I'm not saying anything more on it, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. So, well, when the chairman speaks, I know for sure it is final. He's not speaking further on it. But, you know, Chairman Panton, I speak directly to you in
Annual report of 2324 and the chairman's opening remarks, the second page, paragraph 8. And I would like clarity on this particular matter.
This is the 23 report?
2324 report, the chairman's page 2 of the chairman's opening remarks, the end of page 2. If for the 272 is page 8 of the 272 pages, and it's at the bottom. And I'm going to quote the last sentence written by the chairman, and from my interpretation, there appears to be a bit of a contradiction. And I quote, "Of course, there is nothing to prevent declarants or persons under investigation from speaking on the situation as it relates to them." So I am seeking clarity. If a declarant is under investigation before the report has been tabled in the Parliament, is it against the law for the declarant to acknowledge that he or she is the subject of an investigation?
In my opinion, a declarant can always speak about his or her situation at any time. That is my view of the law.
But it sounds inconsistent with
well,
what Mr. Chris said.
The section says nobody is to speak about the thing. But I can't see why I am involved in a situation and I cannot speak about it. That is my interpretation of the law. It doesn't follow, although I think I'm right, it doesn't follow that I'm right.
I'm going to ask the chairman, is your interpretation of the law consistent with the Integrity Commission's interpretation of the law on this particular matter?
What's the question?
If the chairman's interpretation of the law, as written here on page 2 of his opening remarks, if it is consistent with the Integrity Commission's interpretation of the law on this particular matter. It's a very important matter because there have been public comments made that no individual can speak on a matter until it's tabled, even if you are the subject of an investigation. But the chairman...
No, I don't share that view.
Right. But is that
I share the view that the Commission and other people should not be speaking about matters as forbidden by the legislation. However, in my view, and as I say, it's my view, that a declarant can speak about himself. I don't see anything to prevent that.
All right.
That is my view.
All right. Thank you, Chairman.
Why is this important, ladies and gentlemen? The way how the Integrity Commission goes about is its investigation. Individuals that are under investigation for illicit enrichment, they would know at some point, you know. Like Andrew Wheatley. Andrew Wheatley knew at some point that, brother, you are under investigation for illicit enrichment, you know. And that was in 2024. So now, when you look at how it all went down with Andrew Wheatley coming from the Petrojam situation, being removed and fired, and then 2024, he knew that he was under investigation for illicit enrichment. Actually came back and was brought back by Andrew Wallace. The biggest elephant in the room is, how could Andrew Wallace not know that he was under investigation? How could he not know? In Jamaica, how could he not know? No, when I read the report, I think it's 2024 was the first time he knew that he was under investigation for illicit enrichment. I did a video on it. I'm just speaking off the top of my head, you know, so that's why I say I think, but I can go and look. I can go back and look, right? Because there's a section of the report that deals with the chronological order of the report itself. And you can see the dates and when, you know, the individual knew that he was under investigation. But the point of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, whether 2022 or 2024, I believe it's 2024, based off my remembrance of what I read. In 2025, you know, he would have known that he was under investigation. So he betrayed, yeah man, I check it again, man. He betrayed the trust of the entire Jamaica public. Imagine we were here and it was an election and there were 8 illicit or 12 illicit at the time. and we didn't know who was under investigation, you don't think a election, in an election, a candidate being under investigation for illicit enrichment would be a huge, red flag for some voters. Like, yo, so you can't explain your way to the Integrity Commission? Man, I'm not voting for you. There's still some people that have integrity. You understand what I say? But the public soiree of Andrew Willis alone, it would have made the Jamaica Labour Party sink in all of civil society if it was known who the other illicit 8 or 10 were outside of Andrew Willis. Right? So they hid it from us. But all of them that are under investigation, Jamaica, they know that they're under investigation. They absolutely know. And you hear what Mr. Panton said a while ago? There's no way in the law, based off his opinion, that they could actually go to prison for telling on themselves. So if they wanted to have any integrity at all, to say, listen, I know that I'm under investigation for illicit enrichment. So before I even decide to run, it's best if I stay in the shadows and wait until this thing is cleared up. Big up yourself, woman of God. G-Unit, big up. Any person with integrity would actually do that. Right? Any person with integrity would actually do that and say, listen, man, hey, I'm not even going to do this because, illicit enrichment probe is on me right now. And this is going to hurt my integrity because I knew and I still ran for office. And it's going to hurt my party's integrity. It's going to hurt my team's integrity. It's going to hurt everything. So I'm going to step aside. That would be the right thing to do. But when it comes on to being firm against, and let me put up back this picture. This tweet that Andrew Willis put out in 2013. The PM must act decisively by removing Richard Azan as state minister in keeping with her commitment to stamp out corruption. So Andrew Willis, where is your commitment to stamp out corruption? Why is Andrew Willis still in office after 12 days? Even the PSOJ came out and said this man should resign and go sort out him legal issues. Even the PSOJ came out. You do know how bad it is? The PSOJ is actually supporters of the government. The PSOJ supports the JLP and they are calling for Andrew Wheatley to come out and do the right thing. This is how bad it is. This is unprecedented. It is the first time any member of parliament has been recommended for charges, ladies and gentlemen, where illicit enrichment is concerned. How are you doing, Queen Amina? It is the very first time. It is very significant. It's not any small thing. On my side, can we get the taps up? I've been on here for almost 2 hours and I only have 14,000 likes. That's wild. Like and share the video for me now, please. Bolo TV for you guys usually, So Andrew Willis, we're asking that you act decisively by removing Dr. Andrew Wheatley as cabinet minister in keeping with your commitment to stamp out corruption. That's what we're asking for. Who would be doing the charges? The director of corruption prosecution, the DCP. That is an arm of integrity control. It's not the DPP. A lot of people think it's the DPP, but I was having a conversation with what's your name? Atta for the press the other day, and she said no, Bolo, it's DCP, and I went back and I looked at it and I said, oh, she's absolutely right. So anyway, let's continue this. You know, reach now yet, I'm being very methodical.
It's following this question, not a separate question. So do you mind? It will
on to what was just said. This law was not written by the Integrity Commission. It was written by the Parliament of Jamaica. And if there are flaws in the law which are creating different interpretations, I think that's a matter for the Parliament. That hat can't be placed on the Integrity Commission's head.
It can't. We've already addressed the issue of conflicting interpretations. It is the responsibility of the country's lawmakers to make clear laws.
Embarrassing! We need some milk!
Address the issue of conflicting interpretations. It is the responsibility of the country's lawmakers to make clear laws. And if we get into a situation, a pit, where we're, jumping over ourselves as to what this means and what that means, that's a matter for the Parliament to deal with. It can't be our responsibility.
One second. It is a conversation that, Chairman, hold on. No, it cannot be that I ask a question, there's a response, and then we're going to move on. I would like an opportunity for the flow for me to respond. Now, Mr. Chairman, this is the second time that the Executive Director has responded to my question or comment in that way. He has made it clear now that the hat shouldn't be on his head in interpreting the law. Now, if the Executive Director of the Integrity Commission ought not to be called upon to interpret the law which is going to direct his function, who should? It is not only inappropriate, but I believe that response speaks to the stance of the Executive Director. And if I ask a question, you can respond properly in giving me your opinion. You see how the chairman responded? That's what I'm talking about. The chairman gave us his opinion and said, I may not be right. The chairman wouldn't look on me and tell us that is for you to deal with. I think that response, the Executive Director, is not in keeping with the tenor of this Oversight Committee and the conversation we're having now. I'm asking again, and hopefully you will be minded to actually give me some insight into how you think, because how you think and what operates in your mind as the Executive Director is critical to my understanding of the operation of the Integrity Commission and the confidence I repose in it. So if you're unable to answer the question, then you tell me you're unable to answer it because you don't know what it means. But I don't think so. You are someone who has taught law, you are a respected attorney at law, you have served more than once in this position. Your opinion is critical.
Jamaica, this is where Colonel Charles Jr. got emotional and exposed himself. Nothing that the ED said at the time was wrong. The man is absolutely on point. If there is something in the law that is ambiguous, you have the power to make it clear and cogent. You are the lawmakers. You give directive to where the law is supposed to go and how effective it is. Right? The Integrity Commission is a creature of law and order. They only answer to the court. They don't answer to nobody else. Not even the individuals in a parliament. None of them can bully or talk to the Integrity Commission or direct them in a no way, shape, or form. Only the law directs them. So if you want the law to have a clear direction where the stream is going to go, fix the law. Fix the law. Bella, how you doing? Aneta, how you doing? Fix the law. It is that simple, ladies and gentlemen. Millicent, big up yourself. Unique, big up. In them feelings right now. You know, see him going in hot under the collar.
It is significant. So let me ask again.
Member just before, there's a member who seeks an intervention for a point of information.
Hi, Joanne.
And
this is intervention in my questioning?
Yes, that's what he says.
Chairman, I just want to note that I was a member of this parliament when this law was passed. And I clearly recall what the intention was. It is to guard against people who are being investigated, being prejudiced. That person can waive whatever protection that he or she might have under the law. It is to ensure that investigations are done in secret, so that the person who is being investigated can have that secrecy preserved. But that person can waive that secrecy anytime by saying, I am being investigated and here are the facts. And I don't see anything wrong with that. in terms of the general
Chairman, can I just say that the comment from Member Paulwell is irrelevant as a point of order. It has no bearing on the question that I'm posing. He will have an opportunity to speak. Can I finish up?
Except what you say in your...
Listen.
So, obviously, Andrew honestly said Colonel Charles Jr. in a meeting if he come antagonize the Integrity Commission. But he might make an ass himself right now. Total blabbering ass himself. Because Mr. Paulwell was there when the law was being debated. And the intention of the parliament was this. And that should clear everything up with the question that I'm asking. The intention of the law was to protect the individual himself, right? In terms of secrecy where the investigation is concerned until things came out through the tabling of the report. Now, if the individual wants to waive that right, again, going back to what Mr. Pantan said, which he was a judge at one point, ladies and gentlemen, he's pretty good at interpreting the law. In his opinion, he said, well, how would that individual be breaching the law when the information that he's talking about is about himself? It makes no sense. So it's very, very clear. But Mr. Colonel Charles Jr. is there to be combative. You understand? That's all he's there to do. That's what he was sent there to do. And he's very upset about the comment that the ED had made at the time about asking the government. And I've heard talking my TV say it. And I want to ask the question, Colonel Charles Jr., do you know anything about that situation? Why were you so aggressive where this questioning was concerned when you directed it to the ED? It's very interesting. Very interesting indeed.
In all fairness, I accept what you've said, but his right to intervene is to be respected.
I respect it, but I'm commenting on his right.
In terms of your own interpretation.
Yes, I have a right to respond.
With that, of course.
And in the middle of my
so can you please finish? Yes,
you ought not to obstruct it. We're all members here. And I get the impression, Chairman, this is a serious matter, And no, but why I'm saying this, you have Jamaicans right now listening to us who are confused. So when I ask a question, it is not to attack anybody. I'm not sent here to be friendly. I'm sent here to be effective. And the question, and this is it. Even me asking this, Member Paulwell is saying you're being defensive or offensive. I'm not being offensive. What I'm doing is
Brother, you're absolutely being defensive. Everybody that has an eye can see your body language has changed. Normally, you're cool, calm, and collected, but on this day, you were outside of your element. It's quite clear. Even your head start get shiner, though you're angry. Because more blood start flowing, I get angry, I get vexed. You're bothered. Man, rub you the wrong way with him answer. But that have nothing to do with the man. I hear feelings that control their feelings. The man answer was on point. If you want the law to change the law. Hi, curious, thank you. If you want the law to change the law. It's very, very simple. Millicent, how we all laugh about. Make you a joke.
probing. And maybe because of my legal training, it is not meant in any personal way. I am probing a matter. And I draw the comparison in how our chairman responded, expressing his own perspective and respectfully saying that he could be wrong. And I can respect that kind of response. But I don't accept that as a member of this committee, I can ask a question and he said, you who wear the hat, not me. That couldn't be acceptable, Chairman. But let me ask.
Hey, may I tell you, say, you see the ED, I don't want soft brother in there. You see my look on Colonel Charles. Go and run off your mouth, man. And we don't talk to you already. And if he asks me a question again, at the same answer I'm going to give. Nothing will change. You are the government. If there's an ambiguity in the law, fix the law. We are here discussing it, and I'm telling you my opinion of the law. This person is telling you their opinion of the law. If everybody has an opinion, That means the law is a broad language law. It's quite clear. It says any other person. Any other person. What does that mean in the law? It means any other person. So if you want to narrow the responsibility, you change the wording of the law from any other person to the specific person. Simple. But he, again, is hot under the collar, ladies and gentlemen.
Again, for clarity, I raised an issue before around section 53 and 56 asking for clarity whether members of parliament who are under investigation are within the constraint of the Integrity Commission Act in speaking about such investigation before those matters have been tabled in parliament. The response from the executive director to me was to read out a comment, or a statement rather, from the Integrity Commission that says, in my words, all officers or any other person fall within the constraint of the law, and in my terms ought not to be talking about the matter, whether you are in the IC or any other person. I even went on to ask specifically members of parliament. The response are members of parliament persons. Yes. So that was very clear to me. Now, further to that, we have highlighted a statement, a sentence in the chairman's report that speaks to, of course, there's nothing to prevent declarants or persons under investigation from speaking. My interpretation of that is that you can't time them out. I can say what I want to say, just as I'm saying it right now. But that is not what I think is a relevant question for the nation that is watching us. The relevant question must be, not can somebody talk, but if they speak, are they in contravention of this legislation? Now, from
ladies and gentlemen, it's clear that, you know, this gentleman was not listening to Mr. Pantan when he was speaking. The man was very clear. The man said, my interpretation of the law is that you cannot perjure yourself by telling persons about your own case. You cannot be locked up for it. You can relinquish that. And he got further confirmation from Mr. Paulwell, right? From the the building of the law itself. That the intention was actually that itself. This should have been over with, you know. But he's showboating now because he got embarrassed. Or he feels embarrassed. So this is a testosterone thing now. Look at his face on the screen for those that can see it. That is somebody that is visibly upset. Right? The temperature, yeah, it get shiner because in temperature, you know, never say me have shine too, so me can't tell you, you know. When the temperature get hotter, more blood start running to your head, you know. So you're not gonna hear on your head, and then now everything will go on up there so people can't see it, then pay attention. Me can't see it. He's very upset. He's very upset, ladies and gentlemen.
I need to pose that question. It's important to answer it. So let me do it again and ask whoever wants to answer. Not can somebody talk, but if they do, are they in contravention of the Integrity Commission Act in its current state?
Chairman, through you, sir. I think, before you left, I think what this further discourse has demonstrated, and this has been my posture.
Turn off yours, Minister.
Yeah, thanks. I think this interchange and engagement, what is useful.
Yo, I don't know if you guys realize, but this is some disrespectful stuff. He is literally taunting Colonel Charles Jr. because he's not looking at him. He's actually having a conversation with the chairman, Mr. Pantan, in answering the question. Yo!
That is funny, honey. That's funny. Oh my God, that is funny.
About it is that we're talking about a piece of legislation which, interestingly, is under review by this very parliament. And if we read the law, what the law actually anticipates is that after 5 years, observing how the law operates in relation to the commission, is there anything which needs changing? Now, it should not come as a surprise to anyone that there are going to be conflicting interpretations insofar as some provisions of the legislation are concerned. And to me, I don't see why that should cause any level of consternation. I think where we are right now is that we have identified a number of provisions which are capable of more than one meaning. They are equivocal in meaning. And you want to get to a point where you are clear, you are unequivocal in meaning. And I don't think we should be seeking to pin anyone on a particular interpretation. Interpretation A or interpretation B. When you look at the rules of interpretation, legislative interpretation, one rule that you look for, there's a literal rule.
AKI selfish. AKI Aki selfish. Bernita Brown, big up yourself. Change your name to Bernita Brown. The Aki selfish something, I don't know. And let's not get sensitive. I can't call everybody name. You know how much time they read that they just beat up the screen and I hit the like button. You can imagine 1,000 persons are watching me. I'm supposed to call everybody's name. I think you guys are demanding way too much of me. Respectful. Seriously. There's no way we can. If I was to call everybody's name, I would be here for 10 hours. I would never get to the actual content. How would I get to the actual content? As soon as somebody, I do my best. I do my best. So it's not my intention to make somebody feel any type of way or as if I'm ignoring them if they come on the line. That is not my intention. Let me just make that very, very clear. Right? Well, as you can see, this particular live stream is about the law. So I'm trying to focus on what the lawmakers and the law enforcers are, you would say, law practitioners are actually saying about the Integrity Commission Act. And what I'm establishing is that, you know, the Integrity Commission Act has its flaws, but those flaws came from the government. They are the one that wrote it. They have been in power. They had 49 seats. They could have changed whatever it is that is wrong with the law, in their opinion, and, you know, allow the Integrity Commission to operate more effectively. So when they come out and they blast the Integrity Commission, they should just put themselves in the firing range. You understand, of criticism, they are the main ones to be blamed, not the Integrity Commission. The Integrity Commission is a creature of law. So whatever law you put there, they are guided by it. Yes, and I'm going to show you later on how much recommendations the Integrity Commission has made to the Parliament for changes in the law to strengthen the Integrity Commission, and see how much they have ignored, ladies and gentlemen. So like and share this video. Share this video with 10 people right now, and then in the next 10 minutes, you share it with 10 more people. One, beat up the like button. Then if you want to donate, there's many options. The Super Chat and Bolo 3DG. Gifting is available at Bolo VNR 2.0. Sorry. Gifting is available. You can become a member of the platform. Shout out to the honorable members of the platform. Thank you guys. So thank you guys for your continued support. Georgia gave 5 persons gift memberships yesterday. Georgia, where are you? I want to see a bad side of your name, you know, because I don't know how you gifted 5-person memberships, but never take a membership for yourself. There's 2 options now. You can explore both of them. You can gift person membership, and you can become a member yourself. All right? Let's continue.
And I think that's what we're talking about here. It says any other person. And the member is right. We're all persons. But there's also another rule. What was the mischief that the provision was intended to cure or to deal with? Was the mischief that is intended to deal with is members of the commission speaking about the matter while it's on investigation? Or as the chairman says, was it intended also to extend as far as to the person who is the subject of the matter? Is he too prohibited from speaking? It stands to reason that the chairman is correct in his assessment in terms of what makes sense. What was the purpose of the provision? The member across the floor, he is hanging his hat on any other person, and that's what I read out. And I read it out in the sense that this is what the law states. Now, what do you, the lawmaker, means by that? And yes, sir, there are members of the public who are listening, and they are confused. And I think right here, it is for us to get rid of that confusion. So I'll just say this, and I've said it before, and I'll say no more. We have identified another provision, which is not unequivocal in meaning. And Chair, with respect, this is another matter that I think should go to the Joint Select Committee of Parliament, if you should so determine. And again, I repeat, it's our lawmakers who make the law. They're not infallible. And this is why we have processes like this, review processes. We're not infallible either. And as I say, this process serves good reason, a good public purpose, to identify errors. It may not have been Parliament's intent to say it this way. Madam Malhu Ford pointed out that, despite Section 6.3a of the Act, which says that the Commission shall not be directed by any person or authority. Parliament is an authority. This committee is an authority. And the words are very explicit. They are unequivocally clear. But yet in another provision of the Act, it says that you're accountable. And there's no one on this side who would say that we're not accountable. I've said it several times in this chamber, that we hold ourselves accountable. And we come here to answer your questions and to work with the committee as best as we can. So, Chair, I rest it, and I hope the member understands my position. I'm not here to answer questions in a way that satisfies anyone. That's not me. I will give you my answer to a question as I see it. We have identified another provision in the Interior Commission Act which requires address, and I'll leave it at that. Except...
What am I telling you to say? Oh, this is the man just rubbed salt in our wood a while ago and answer a question the same way with more emphasis. Oh my God, bro, I can tell you, President Charles Jr. was sweating today, boy. He was sweating today, boy. And sorry to the people over here. Ivan Green, Watson, Patrice, Tomlinson, big up on yourself. I never saw you guys comments. Most advanced, but their prime minister are certified, unlike Andrew Holmes. I see what they did there. I see what they did there. Yeah, man. Wow.
Except I just wish to point out that the explanation that you give raises a lot of questions about just how we have operated and functioned, referencing the law and the issue of the interpretation that we may have on the one hand, and interpretation that the other, particularly the declarants, might have on the other hand. What concerns me at this moment is the actual point you made, E.D. Christie, that the law has to be amended and dealt with dispatch. And I made the comment earlier as chairman of another responsible body that has that overall responsibility, that it will be done, and it will be done with dispatch. Because much of the concerns that are being raised here, the confusion that the member Charles is references, emanates from, again, the imprecise nature of the legal provisions. And the second element that I believe needs to be looked at is the absence of empirical data points for determination of decisions. So that there is probably too much that is left to the interpretation of functionaries in arriving at decisions. So one of the things that we have to look at are there possible parameters to be established, action points to be determined. In other words, a more empirical basis on determining what is required for certification, for example. And so that if we have a list of 1 item, 2 items, 3 items, 4 items, and all those items are met, then certification is automatic. And it removes the individual situation where a director of any area has the discretion to determine. And it removes the reference to phrase.
How do we know that? But it would be so dramatic. And then, Chairman, the report, as normal, would come a day before Parliament started, or the weekend before. Everyone knew Parliament was going to start on the 17th of September. But it came on the 5th of September, 2 weeks before the 17th. Why did it come so early? Almost 2 weeks before, when we know Parliament was going to be the 17th. And this is almost a couple of weeks after Member Robinson is talking about this dramatic report that was coming to Parliament? Where is it? How does he know that a report is coming to Parliament?
This was also another ridiculous attempt by Derek Chuck. You know, I don't understand how these people make so much money. I don't understand how they are regarded as the best of the best and the creme de la creme. Respectfully, if I had the educational opportunities that they had, I would wipe the floor off them in Parliament. Them not ready. Them not ready, Jamaica. I'm not telling you that straight. Them not ready. Them not ready. I don't know where my ask Mr. Panton, but let's hear the answer.
Yes, the question of, there are two questions. One about the question of the report being sent to Parliament at a certain time. And what was the other question? Oh, the statute. Yes, in relation to the questions being asked of declarants. What I would like, Chairman, is for specific instances to be presented so that they can be dealt with. Specific instances, the name of the declarant and the questions asked, so that the Director of Information can deal with it. The second one, Chairman, you'll recall that we were initially invited to attend a sitting here on the 11th of June, 11th of September. If members recall that, then they would not be thinking that we knew that there was going to be no sitting of Parliament until the 17th. And the fact of the matter is that we send reports as soon as they have been received and read by the commissioners. As soon as they have completed the process, we send the reports, and they are usually timed to coincide with a sitting. And our understanding was that there was to be Parliament during that week of the 11th of September. And subsequent events, which we have no control over, resulted in the cancellation. That was the date for the nomination in wherever it was.
Chairman,
yeah.
Respectfully,
yeah.
I have to give some guidance in that regard. And unfortunately, your account doesn't comport fully with my understanding of what transpired at the period. I recall that we wrote to you inviting the commissioners for a meeting on the 11th. That had nothing to do with the calendar activities or the plan for the meeting of Parliament. Absolutely nothing. It had only to do with the meeting of a committee of Parliament, and that has to do with the Oversight Committee. So we had at no time intended for Parliament to convene before the 17th. In addition, there were some other issues in relation to the preparation of the room and the dining.
We didn't know that.
You wouldn't know that, but it is fair to say that the assumption that because we asked you for a meeting on the 11th, right, which you indicated to us was not possible for the commissioners, but rather the first week of October, and we agreed to do the first week of October. So I regret that you had a misunderstanding in terms of that, but for clarity and for accuracy, the two meetings never had anything to do with each other. Yes. The meeting suggested for the committee is a different thing altogether from the meeting of the House.
And in respect of a member of the committee or member of Parliament saying that report is going to be tabled or something, I don't think it should be laid at the Commission's feet. The fact of the matter is that politicians, as you know, they say things, all sorts of things, they speculate, and we have no control over that.
At this chair, we don't speculate either, as you know, but we do take what is said very seriously.
I mean, a number of parliamentarians, knowing that I sit on the Oversight Committee, have sent me information that especially Mr. Craig Beresford have sent them. And you asked for specific examples. I can give you one right now.
And several of them have commended the Commission. I can name them.
That's fine, but...
Ask Senator Morris.
I'm not going to call names. No, I'm not going to call names. No, one second, Chairman Franklin. I'm not going to... You have a situation now where a member elected in 2020 is ask a question. You bought a 2014 BMW. What is the source of your funds? What's the relevance of that? So we'll ask those questions.
Yes. Jamaica, but just, you know, I hope and I appreciate this because we have to refresh your memory. You hear the foolishness of this man asked the Integrity Commission? What is the point of the probe of the Integrity Commission? To make sure that you have not made money illegally. So therefore, whatever assets you have, whether a vehicle, a company, a house, any asset that you have, how you acquire that asset, you have to give them the source of funds. And here is a Minister of Justice asking the director, the chairman of the Integrity Commission at the time, well, what is the relevance of that question? I don't think he is deserving of an answer, ladies and gentlemen. The question itself is an amateur question. Absolutely amateur. It's embarrassing. These are the people that are representing us. These are the people that are getting 200 to 300% on their money. The highest paid politicians in the Caribbean and cannot grow the economy don't even know that, and this man especially don't even know that there's multiple human rights violations in Jamaica and that we have a human rights problem. Went in the parliament and embarrassed us globally to say some nonsense like that. Coming in this committee talking about what is the relevance of asking the person, what is the source of the funds for the vehicle that they bought. What can go so unbelievable?
And I can give you many examples where a member elected in around 2020 again is asked, what did you do with a car you purchased in the 90s? What price did you get for it and how did you dispose of the funds? What's the relevance of these questions?
Chairman, if I may, before Director Beresford respond. In addition to the need for concrete examples, which I think would be helpful, I believe there are two recurring issues that have been the source of concern that require some understanding. What is the understanding of the IC's remit in relation to matters before the law came into effect? That is one. So the law has a start date, and how far back do you reach under the Act, which had a start date? And the other matter relates to inquiries into assets and liabilities before the declarant became a declarant. I said two, but there's also a third one, materiality and the principle of de minimis. And that is of particular importance against the cost, the administrative cost of pursuing something given its materiality. And I know materiality has to be looked at in context, but across numerous declarants, not limited to members of the political directorate, the recurring questions occur. What is the Commission's understanding of its remit in relation to matters before the law came into effect and in relation to matters before a declarant was a declarant, and materiality?
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you, members, for your questions. Now, I stand with the Chairman's comment that the specific instances need to be brought to me, and I'm saying this publicly now. The parliamentarians that you see where we're asking questions about source of funds prior to 2018 going back, they need to send that to us. Send that to me, and public officials also. And my email address is craig.beresford@integrity.gov.jm. 1 second, sir. The letter, they should send it to me if that is the case. And let me answer the specific question. The statutory declaration requires you to complete several sections about your property, motor vehicle, etc. Now, if it is the case that you still own the property or you still own the motor vehicle, you have to declare it, even if you purchased it in 1970. On the form, it also requires you to put the purchase price, and there's a reason for it. So if you submit a declaration without the purchase price, regardless of when you purchase the asset, it has to be disclosed. Your declaration is not complete. It is not complete. So the specific issue about source of funds prior, if that is the case, I want you to bring that to my attention, because we have made it clear in our division that if it is purchased outside of a certain period, that we would not ask further questions about it unless there is a special circumstance about that particular declaration that requires us to ask information going beyond special circumstance. And
Jamaica, this is important, you know, because Andrew Owens had one of those special circumstances. And the Integrity Commission have to go further back and look into his financials. Yes. We'll read the report. Read the report.
and I will not go into the special circumstance because it only happens on certain occasions, specific occasions. But normal course of activities, once we see where you still own the asset or you still own the property, you have to provide complete information regardless of when you purchased it. And it's because the statutory declaration requires it. Yes.
Clarify the point. Insofar as a section of the declaration requires a declaration of the asset and the price of acquisition or disposal, I don't think that is the issue of stating, if one recalls, what the cost of acquisition was. It's the reaching back. So are you saying that your understanding of your remit is that beyond stating the cost of acquisition, you have the power to inquire into the source of funds to acquire that, even if the declarant were not a declarant? Definitely not. I'm happy to hear the answer. You need not say more. I'm just happy to hear that that is your answer, because if the answer were otherwise, something would be very wrong.
I just want to make this clear. We only go back in on the... Yes. Indeed. Yeah. Yes. So once you were a declarant, special circumstances, we may ask questions. But what we do specifically is that we look at each declaration when you procured the asset, liability, if it's income to be declared, we ask for supporting documents once we're reviewing those statutory declarations, as a matter of course. So if there are specific instances where we're asking about source of funds before, that should not happen. And I'm making it clear it should not happen. And that's why I'm asking for you to send me that specific instances where we're asking about source of funds before, that should not happen. And I'm making it clear it should not happen. And that's why I'm asking for you to send me that specific instance so I can treat with it. It's not supposed to happen.
Well, I think we really have had a very fulsome, discussion.
Yes, fulsome discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, let me get to the recommendations. Let me get to the recommendations, all right? Let me get to the recommendations. Can I tell us, if you don't think, them are money normal. You know, normal, not all here. You guys are good. I'm sure I haven't even read everything yet. I just glimpse and filter through. But let me go to the 2020, the latest recommendation from the Integrity Commission annual report. All right, 2023 not so far back. Let me go to the table of content. Recommendation for legislative amendments and best practices 131. Let me go to that page there. See? We're going to take a look at what the IC has recommended, ladies and gentlemen, for them to take a look at, right? Estimate of expenditure for the period 20. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it gone so far. 131 there. So this is 131. Financing and Accounting Division. It look like they make a mistake. Yeah, man, it look like they make a mistake because all it tell me say the page is 131. But I know 131 that They make a mistake, you know, see the financial division. They make a mistake right there, so I have to go find it myself. 136. 136, let me see. Alright. See it here. Chapter 13, recommendations for legislative amendments, right? Let's read. Let me see if we can read this aloud. So we can hear what they have asked. This is what they have asked the government to actually change in the law. Alright?
Recommendations under consideration the Integrity Commission, pursuant to Section 62 and Section 4 of the Second Schedule of the Integrity Commission Act 2017, has made numerous recommendations in its four preceding annual reports, which were submitted to the Houses of Parliament. The recommendations are currently being considered by the Joint Select Committee of Parliament, which was established to review and report on the Integrity Commission Act 2017. Several sittings of the committee were held during the financial year, during which time the Integrity Commission and other stakeholders were given an opportunity to elaborate on the respective submissions. The recommendations which have been made by the Commission over the requisite period and which are under the consideration of the Joint Select Committee falls within the following main thematic areas. 1. Staggering and transitional arrangements of board membership. 2. Termination of the appointment of a Commissioner. 3. Examination and completeness of statutory declarations. 4. Disclosure of registrable interests. 5. Gifts to parliamentarians/public officials from relatives. 6. Offense for misleading, obstructing, or non-compliance with request from the Director of Investigation. 7. Review of obligation not to announce or comment on investigations. 8. Actions of the Commission not void for want of Form 9. Regulations to the Integrity Commission Act 10. Review of obligation to keep certain matters, documentation, and information secret and confidential. 11. Duty of public officials to report act of corruption. 12. Correction of observed typographical errors in the Integrity Commission Act.
Alright, so let's go back to those recommendations which have been made by the Integrity Commission over the requisite period, which are under consideration. Want to hear that? Staggering and transitional agreement of board membership. Termination of appointment of a commissioner. Examination and completeness of statutory declaration. Disclosure of registrar interests. Gifts to parliamentarians or public officials from relatives. Offense for misleading, obstructing, or non-compliance with requests from the Director of Investigation. Review of obligation not to announce or comment on investigation. They want that to review, right? Actions of the Commission not void for want of form. Regulation 2, the Integrity Commission Act. Review of obligation to keep certain matters, document and information secret and confidential. So they want that obligation to be reviewed. Are the secrecy for what? Duty of public officials to report act of corruption. The duty of public officials, the one them we are served with, to do what? Report acts of corruption. Correction of observed typographical errors in the Integrity Commission Act. So then they under something. Now it says in addition, right? In addition to the recommendations which have been posited by the Integrity Commission, it is a matter of public record that the submissions were also made to the Joint Select Committee by the following organizations in relation to a review of the Integrity Commission Act. Jamaicans for Justice, Jamaica Lands, Minister of Finance and Public Service, Financial Investigation Division, FID, the Morning Collection, Norman Manley Law School, Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, National Integrity Action, NIA, and the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal. Further recommendations were also made by the Honorable Everald Warmington to the Joint Select Committee. The Commission awaits the deliberation and our recommendation of the Joint Select Committee in keeping with its mandate to review the Integrity Commission Act. Pursuant to Section 60 and Section 4 of the second schedule of the Integrity Commission Act 2017, the Integrity Commission makes the following recommendations for amendment to legislation and best practices. Excuse me, my bad. Recommendations for proposed legislation amendment to the Integrity Commission Act 2017. All right, so the Integrity Commission Act, Section 43 ICA, the provision of false information or responses to the Director of Information and Compliance should be a criminal offense, similar to the provision of false information and statutory declaration. And you hear that? So they want Section 43 of ICA to have the same weight as the provisions of false information of a statutory declaration. A declarant should not be able to provide false information or responses to the Director if information will be used as a basis to certify a statutory declaration. Recommended changes. The reference matter could be addressed by amending Section 43(2) to state knowingly makes a false statement in a statutory declaration or to the Director of Information and Compliance. So it's recommending how they would change the actual language in the law itself. So they're being very specific, right? Now, the other recommendation is a person who knowingly makes false statement in a statutory declaration commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction in a parish court to fine not exceeding $2 million or to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 2 years. The court may make order it thinks fit. Now, they want that to be amended to this. Specific provisions to address various forms of false statement made in a statutory declaration. It is recommended, to include 3 categories. 1, failure to disclose a material fact, misrepresentation, and providing misleading information. So 43(2)A, they want that's what it already is on the left, but on the right, they want it to be changed to that. So these are recommendations by the Integrity Commission. It goes on to say, if a person therefore knowingly makes false statement in a statutory declaration, failing under any of these categories, they commit an offense. So they want, if you lie to the Integrity Commission, it has to be an offense that carries weight. That's what I'm understanding from this. Everybody big up yourself. All right? It has to be an offense that carries weight, ladies and gentlemen. So the Integrity Commission is asking the government to make these changes to the Integrity Commission Act so as to give it more effectiveness in doing its job. Carol, Gio, you're doing, big up yourself. There's more. These are recommendations from 2023, you know. All right. The Integrity Commission Act, Section 43(1), maximum of 500,000 to 6 months in prison. Fixed penalty for discharge liability, $250,000. It says on the other side, reduce the fixed penalty for discharge liability. Include a minimum fine equivalent to discharge liability. Notice for offense under Section 43(1) includes stricter penalties for repeat offenders. You understand? They basically want that to be amended for repeat offenders instead of what is there already. So You know, I believe I'm gonna go pay 500,000 or 6 months in a prison. They are, you know, easily paid 500,000. But repeat offenders, put some weight on that. Yeah, that them have said. No existing provision through previous legislated under the Contractor General Act. A section to be inserted, possibly below section 43(1), that makes provision for an offense if a person without lawful jurisdiction or excuse obstruct, hinders, or resists the commission in carrying out its function under the Integrity Commission Act, or if they fail to comply with any lawful requirements of the commission in accordance with the Integrity Commission Act or any other enactment. So basically, when we read from that, is that the Integrity Commission wants them to make sure that they give incentives for entities to comply with the Integrity Commission Act. You understand? Lack of compliance will mean punishment. Because some of them try to go around them, you know. Recommendation arising from completed reports of investigation. During the course of the financial year, the Director of Investigation made several recommendations in keeping with Section 54 of the Integrity Commission Act towards improving public procurement and contract administration, as well as improving systems of governance and eradicating corruption enabling devices. Jamaica, I'm not going to read all of it. It is a lot. 2 pages of recommendation from A to N. My point is this: every year, the Integrity Commission does this. It puts out recommendation. The government don't have to follow it. So you see when every Lawmaker come out and say the Integrity Commission is not credible, this government is not credible, because they are the ones that are supposed to read these recommendations and do what Andrew Wellness said in this video. What did Andrew Wellness say? Andrew Wellness said that the government, oh, you guys were not seeing the thing. Sorry about that. You guys were not seeing what I was reading. Let me go back. Because I don't want nobody say me and make up nothing, you know. This is one of the annual reports, ladies and gentlemen. This was what I was reading from. Recommendations for proposal legislative amendments to the Integrity Commission Act 2017. This is the document that I'm reading from. All you guys have to do is type in annual reports in Google for the Integrity Commission, and you can even type the year, and you will get the document to download on your phone or computer, and you can read it for yourself and understand. You know why I'm doing this? A lady called Mystic Sensation and said, you know that the Jamaican people don't read the Integrity Commission annual report, and if they read the Integrity Commission annual report, they would have realized that what the government is saying is nonsense, because there are several recommendations that the Integrity Commission has asked the government to carry out. If they don't carry it out, how can the Integrity Commission be better? How can they be more effective? How can they be more speedy in how they do their work? How can they be more credible? Because according to Everald Warmington, they are not credible, ladies and gentlemen. You see the conundrum that we find ourselves in? When you actually peel back the layers of this thing and you realize who is the true culprit. Who is the true culprit? The government. The government of Jamaica is the true culprit. They have all the power, but they want to blame the Integrity Commission. All the power to make changes, but they want to blame the Integrity Commission, ladies and gentlemen. They are gigantic, evil hypocrites. You understand? And I'm going to go to an article right here, right? That is important to read. This is the latest, right? June 2nd, 2026. And I want to say shout out to Anissa Bell Rose. I was watching her video and I said, yes, I forgot about this article. Look at Andrew Onis talking about, oh, the Integrity Commission needs changes. Then what is this? Watchdog warns legislative weaknesses hamper its work. So the Integrity Commission is saying to the legislators, these weaknesses is hampering us from doing our job. Change it. Again, who is to be blamed for the Integrity Commission not being able to do their jobs effectively? The government, Andrew Onis government. Let's read the article, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are unbelievable. They are cowards coming out here attacking the Integrity Commission, and they know very damn well that they are the ones that hold all the power to make the changes.
E-paper. Home. I see once more teeth. Watchdog warns legislative weaknesses hampering its work. The Integrity Commission, IC, has renewed calls for Parliament to strengthen the law governing the body, warning that legislative weaknesses are hindering its ability to effectively carry out its mandate amid continued debate over the agency's powers and independence.
Ladies and gentlemen, the key word in this paragraph is renewed. They have made this call before, so their calls have fell on deaf ears. Again, the blame squarely resides with the Jamaica Labour Party. Let's continue.
Independence. It's a new piece of legislation and, as you can all see unfolding in Jamaica, it has its kinks, and hopefully the legislators will pay some attention to strengthening the Integrity Commission Act because that is extremely important. It's an institution that I believe should not in any way, shape, or form be diluted. IC Executive Director Craig Beresford argued at a press conference ahead of the 12th Annual Commonwealth Caribbean Association of Integrity Commissions and Anti-Corruption Bodies, KCAB, conference being hosted by Jamaica from June 1st to 4th at ROK Hotel in downtown Kingston.
All of that was not even important. But the important thing is the quote. It is a nice piece of legislation. And as you can see, all see unfolding in Jamaica, it has its kinks. This is the same very thing that Andrew Onis said, you know. Let us go back. Let us go back and let us listen. Right? Let us go back and let us listen. Right here.
Legislative is the front of my mind. What I will say to you today, this government has not been without its challenges. I couldn't leave this stage without saying to you that corruption is not an issue that occupies the front of my mind. I couldn't leave here today and say to you that we still need to tighten up on the new anti-corruption systems and framework that is in place. In a sense, if you were to compare Jamaica to all the other countries in the Caribbean, our framework for anti-corruption would be the most advanced. It is not for want of putting in the legislative and institutional processes. They are there. But you have to bear in mind that we are also very new on the scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs.
Out! We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove them all there. Take out the cockroach. Take out the thief. Take out the criminal them. Take out the thief them.
out of Parliament. Take them out from Portland. Take them out. I hear Portland. Me I go to Portland. Why me I travel to Portland? Take out somebody, man or woman.
Jamaica, what Andrew Owens just said, that is different from what Mr. Craig Beresford said. The man said it is a new piece of legislation, right? Yeah, Warren again, brother. All right. People, we're in a game. All right, so guys, Mr. Craig Beresford said, on top of the screen and bless up the gift them, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Craig Beresford said, it is a new piece of legislation. And as you can see, as you all can see unfolding in Jamaica, it has its kinks. That means there's things about it that needs to be, straightened. Right? So, why is it that we are here? Why the government has not strengthened the Integrity Commission Act? When Andrew Owens himself admitted in 2019, that what he just said a while ago, that was 2019 JLP conference, why is it that they have not strengthened the Integrity Commission Act? The man was on it as its kinks, and as I read before, and I showed you, from every annual report that the Integrity Commission puts out, they have recommendations that is necessary. Right? They have recommendation that is necessary to strengthen it. So if the government had the IC's best interests at heart, ladies and gentlemen, they would make these recommendations a reality so the IC can do their job better. And then they wouldn't have to complain that they are not credible and all of this foolishness. The reason for their non-credibility in the eyes of Everald Warmington and other members of the government is the fact that Everald Warmington has wanted to take away funding from the Integrity Commission when the Integrity Commission actually needs more money. He questioned their auditing, and that's another thing. Who remember when Everald Warmington questioned the auditing of the Integrity Commission? And you remember the response from, I believe it was Mr. Panton at the time. And I think he said something about the water in Parliament. Because if they read the annual report, look at this. Internal Audit Department, ladies and gentlemen. Every single Integrity Commission report, the annual report, has the Internal Audit Department findings. And we're going to go to it. 117. May I show you how much these guys have been trying to discredit the Integrity Commission for the longest. Right? And if all they need to do is read, but you see through them know say, we now go read, them can't tell you anything and rub on the mind the wrong way against the Integrity Commission. They are a bunch of deceptive snakes, ladies and gentlemen. They cannot be trusted. They absolutely cannot be trusted. Come in the Parliament talking about audit. Where's the audit report for the Integrity Commission? As if the Integrity Commission is just loosely using money. That's what Everald Warmington did, He's an absolute disgrace. But when you're a part of the lodge, what you expect? The brotherhood. What do you expect, ladies and gentlemen? What do you expect to happen? Because the brother would have got them go back for each other no matter why. When a smart guilty or not, them no business about that. That's what a cult is all about. And the Jamaica Labour Party is a cult in itself. Much less these guys and these ladies or whoever is a part of their group. Right? Everyone that has told us that is a part of the lodge. He has been very, very open about that. You understand? So nobody can say, oh, shut up. Him say it in a parliament, him have lodge meeting, and I miss it so. So the auditing, ladies and gentlemen, is right here. All of the information is right here. He did it. It is there. All you gotta do is go and read. That's all you have to do. Go and read the thing on yourself. Right? And stop make the Jamaica Labour Party lie to you. Now let's get back to the article. Right? Mighty God.
Kingston. Horse racing sports. 25th SVL Anniversary Trophy explodes into supernatural power versus nautical star. June 26, 2026. Beresford's appeal comes at a time when the IC remains at the center of public and political debate, particularly over provisions in the Integrity Commission Act that restrict what the agency can publicly disclose about ongoing investigations and the broader question of whether the legislation gives the body sufficient authority to fulfill its anti-corruption mandate. The Integrity Commission was established in 2018 through legislation that merged several oversight bodies into a single anti-corruption agency responsible for investigating corruption, monitoring the financial declarations of public officials, and promoting integrity in public life. Entertainment, latest news. 33rd staging of. However, since its creation, the Commission has repeatedly argued that certain provisions of the law have limited its effectiveness. The agency has also made a number of recommendations to Parliament through its annual reports, including about strengthening its independence and investigative processes. Beresford.
Jamaica, me don't talk. This particular part, right? This is one paragraph. However, since its creation, from the very first time the Integrity Commission was created, when they laid down the legislation, they have been asking the government for certain provisions of the law that limit its effectiveness. They need to change it. They have been arguing it. So anything that the Integrity Commission is falling short of is the government's fault. We are here to dispel the lies in Jesus' name. Every single annual report, the man will put out the recommendations, ladies and gentlemen. So any laboratory no sit on a platform, me arm on the with it shoot, run them when I tell them to go read. Run them away and tell them to go read the annual report. From the inception of the Integrity Commission, they have been asking the government that there is provisions in the law that limit their effectiveness. Change these laws. And they have done nothing to do it. You have to ask the question why. Because they don't want to extend the powers of the Integrity Commission. Because they are against the Integrity Commission. How did you deduce this, Bolo? Well, the Prime Minister has taken the Commission to court to remove illicit enrichment. That is the core law of the Integrity Commission Act. So they have no intention of strengthening the Integrity Commission. Their intention is to absolutely destroy it. And further evidence is how members of the Jamaica Labour Party have come out in recent times, namely Everald Warmington, to put the Integrity Commission down and say they have no credibility. And if it came from anybody else, he would believe. And Andrew Honest compound Cliffview. So we'll play it again. Andrew Honest compound Cliffview show. Where is it? As a matter of fact, me record it. Thank God. Have it on yourself. Out and own amount. Let us go and look at it. Right? Is it this one? Let me just yeah, I definitely need to record this. I don't want to not have this again. Alright, so big up Mystic Sensation.
The PNP would know more about investigations, ongoing investigation. I am not aware of investigations that are ongoing. It seems to me that the PNP would know more about investigations ongoing than I do.
And that raises the issue. Do you have confidence in the Integrity Commission?
The Integrity Commission is a necessary agency to tackle corruption in Jamaica. I believe there are changes that are necessary for it to become more effective.
You haven't said yes or no.
I believe there are changes to make it more effective.
So as of this moment, do you have confidence in it?
I believe there are changes that are necessary. It needs fixing to precisely. And this is not just my.
It need fixing, precisely. Look how long the man them say it need fixing. And I tell you the recommendation to fix it. Why only not fix it? And no one want to blame the Integrity Commission. Go away. You guys are the one that kept it weak because you didn't support it. You went back on your word from 2019 and you were so boastful. Leave the Integrity Commission to do their job, and that goes for the opposition as well. And look at you now as the Blair Knott government tearing down the Integrity Commission. Absolutely disgraceful. And there's people out there supporting this nonsense. Absolute nonsense out there supporting. I don't rate to know. I don't rate nobody will support the Jamaica Labour Party. I don't care. Me no rate to know. You don't have to rate me. Me no rate to know, brother. You can't see this and not draw one line and say, hold on. Then if the country is about, you know, good governance, then you have to fight the Integrity Commission. If you say you're real Labour right and you love your party, you feel like say your party a stand-up party, right? I want to move in a different direction based off on previous antecedents of crime and violence. You understand? And all of these things back in idea. We want to go on with. I don't want to hold up on the head high. I don't want different Labour right. You must call up these things. It is blatant. How can you be quiet? It is tearing down the very reputation and fabric of Jamaica. We look we look ridiculous, brother. To any well-thinking democracy anywhere around the world supposed to look down upon Jamaica. A prime minister that cannot be certified. Right? Running for office while not certified. And then afterwards have a member of parliament that is charged for illicit enrichment. And then go upon here and say, I have full confidence in him, but not the Integrity Commission. And the man under investigation for $164 million when he cannot explain. And then the PSOJ come out and say, this man need to resign. And the man is still have the man as cabinet minister. Come on, man. This is untenable. Jamaica mash up. 100% mash up under the Jamaica Labour Party. Right? And it's just the truth. It's just the truth, Jamaica. It is just the truth. All of the evidence point to the government not doing their job to straighten the Integrity Commission. It is their fault. They have the power and they did not exercise it. They had 49 seats. What is the excuse for not taking the recommendations? All right, let's go to look when the Integrity Commission Act was let's look at the evidence. Let's look at when the Integrity Commission Act was actually enacted, when it was passed. Right? Let's go and look at that. Right? And you guys can do it on your computer too as well, wherever you are on your other device. When was the when did the IC Act come in effect? When did the IC Act come in effect? I couldn't ask the question that way, the moment. The information of the Integrity Commission. And, what is this? ICT? No. I never said nothing about. Oh, sorry, my bad. There was no space there. My bad. That's my fault. So it was passed February 22, 2018. The Integrity Commission Act was passed 2017 and officially operationalized on February 22nd, 2018. So in 2018 it was passed, and in 2019 Andrew Holness was boasting about the Integrity Commission and how it was the best in the entire Caribbean, and it just needed some boost and some support and some resources from the government and for them to come out of their way to do their job, including the opposition. Here we are after he gets investigated, cannot explain him well, and he is now carried them to court and asked the court to remove the portion of that act, section 14 I think a 14A of the act that deals with illicit enrichment. Don't quote me upon that, but you can go look it up. Right? The part that does with, as a matter of fact, let me go to this. Because we want to be clear, I don't want to left nobody in the dark. Let me play this while I look for it. Let me play this while I look for it.
But we're not there yet. But what I would say to you today, you ready? What I will say to you today, this government has not been without its challenges. I couldn't leave this stage without saying to you that corruption is not an issue that occupies the front of my mind. I couldn't leave here today and say to you that we still need to tighten up on the new anti-corruption systems and framework that is in place. In a sense, if you were to compare Jamaica to all the other countries in the Caribbean, our framework for anti-corruption would be the most advanced. It is not for want of putting in the legislative and institutional processes. They are there. But you have to bear in mind that we are also very new on the scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs.
Embarrassing. We need some milk. To the offense of illicit enrichment. And he's talking here about the fact that the Director of Investigation said that because of conclusion that there's a potential conflict of interest between him and Norman Brown. He wants a review of what he calls their acts and or decisions to consider irrelevant facts and or to refuse to consider relevant facts in carrying out their investigation, preparing, considering and submitting the reports for tabling. And he wants a review of what he calls their usurping of the functions of the court in lifting the corporate veil and in the approach and procedure adopted, the analysis, recommendations and conclusions in relation to the offense of illicit enrichment. And he's talking here about the fact that the Director of Investigation said that because Mr. Holness's affairs, as well as the affairs of the company Imperium, which is wholly owned by him, were so intertwined that he had to consider them both together. Mr. Holness wants a review of that decision. So this is what he wants. He wants what is called an order of certiorari, quashing the report and the findings and recommendations of the Director of Investigation and or the Integrity Commission. I'm not going to go through all of these because they're very similar. What he
Listen to this, Jamaica. Listen to this. This is the affidavit of Andrew Wallace, you know. When take the Integrity Commission to court, when asks of the court, you know. Listen, you know. Listen to this part.
He's asking for is an order to quash the report and the findings and recommendations of the report on various bases. All right? So I'm going to go down now. He also wants what is called an order of mandamus. This is an order that says you, from the court, that says you have to do something. So he wants an order compelling the Director of Information and Complaints to examine his 2022 and 2023 statutory declaration. He wants an order compelling the Director of Investigation to recommend to the Integrity Commission that he should be exonerated of culpability in relation to the 2021 and 2022 declarations. He wants a declaration that the submission of the reports to Parliament, except for matters relating to the 4 accounts, was unlawful and or illegal. He wants a declaration that, having regard to the fact that there was no statement or no statement of reasonable suspicion of corruption in relation to the matters referred to Parliament in the report and the special report, and there being no reference to the Director of Corruption Prosecution, he wants a declaration that in those circumstances the Integrity Commission was wrong to send the reports to Parliament for tabling. Now the next few points I'm going to read, this is what I was referring to in the first video when I said I was startled that some of what was being requested. What we have here is a Prime Minister, the head of government, a legislator, asking for the dismantling, essentially, of a significant part of the legislative, the laws that are put in place to try to prevent corruption in the public sector. So let me tell you what I mean. He's asking for a declaration striking down the provisions of the Integrity Commission Act, given what he calls a lack of fairness, impartiality, and independence in the exercise of the functions of the divisions and the commission as presently structured. So he's saying here that he believes that the commission isn't acting with fairness, impartiality, and independence, and as a result, he wants a law struck down. He's also asking for a declaration that Section 14(5) of the Corruption Prevention Act is unconstitutional. That is a section that deals with illicit enrichment in relation to public servants, to call them to account or to create a criminal offense, perhaps I should say, if they have assets that are disproportionate to their lawful earnings. In other words, if they have a bag of things and their salary or their other earnings can't justify the expense of what it is they own, and they can't give a satisfactory explanation as to how it is they have those assets. The Prime Minister wants that section of the Corruption Prevention Act struck down. He says it breaches the presumption of innocence. He says it imposes a reverse burden, a reverse onus. What that means is that as part of the process of proving the offense of illicit enrichment is that you, the person suspected of illicit enrichment, have to provide a satisfactory explanation as to how you have the assets, as to how you could afford the assets, or you could be guilty of the offense. So that's what's called a reverse burden. That is not just about the prosecution proving anything. In this case, you have to prove something as well if you're to defend yourself. A reverse burden is not the norm, but it is not unusual either in certain types of legislation that are put in to fight different types of crime. Another time we can talk more about that.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew Holness wants to remove the very section of the Integrity Commission that is the core of it. Having top-tier individuals, public officials, tell us how they make their money. He doesn't want to tell us how he made his money. He doesn't want to prove anything. He wants to give the commission these statements and they must believe him. He should be presumed innocent. But it doesn't work that way under this legislation. But Andrew Holness still asks the question. He's still demanded of the court to remove that section of the act. So you're telling me that this man is committed to stamping out corruption? Look at him on this tweet. The PM must now act decisively by removing Richard Aslan as State Minister, in keeping with her commitment that a Mama P at the time, Mama P, the most honorable, Portia Miller, she must remove Richard Aslan, move decisively and remove him by keeping with her commitment to stamp out corruption. Where's Andrew Holness' commitment to stamp out corruption? He has none. The man is trying to remove the thing that to help us stamp out corruption, which is illicit enrichment. No, Labour right can't talk to me, you know. Like literally at this point, who you are supporting, there's no way you can talk to me. I don't want to hear nothing from you. You are supporting somebody that looks like a big old criminal based off his actions. Only a criminal will remove the law that holds them accountable. In my opinion, only a criminal does this. Only a criminal does this, Anthony. I don't see it any other way, and I don't see any other way thinking Jamaican could see it any other way. There's no more presumption of innocence. Right? The public opinion should all be that this man appears to be a criminal. Period. How can you make a law and then come and sue the same entity to say that the law is unconstitutional? You are the one that passed the law. You're the one that passed the law, you know. You're the one that passed the law, ladies and gentlemen. How can this be acceptable? How can people support this? You were there saluting the Integrity Commission. As a matter of fact, I remember there's a clip, ladies and gentlemen, in the same with Mr. Panton. And Mr. Panton mentioned how the Prime Minister spoke highly of the Integrity Commission. I need to find that clip. I need to find that clip when Mr. Panton was talking about it. Let me see, Chairman Panton, YouTube. Chairman Panton, Chairman Panton quotes Andrew Holness speaking highly of the IC. Let me see if we can find that clip there. Let me see if we can find that clip. Chairman Panton speak highly. Chairman Panton quotes Andrew Holness speaking highly of the Integrity Commission. Oh my God. Let me not put IC, let me put their full name. Integrity Commission. And it was in Parliament too, you know. Integrity, it was Seymour Panton all along. What is this? Sure, that must be a Labour Right page. Damn foolishness. Let me see the title. You know what foolishness, you know? No, not time for watch no foolishness, brother. But it was Chairman Panton all along. Let me continue to finish that. Let me finish the article here. Yes, the article is kind of long. This is the article where the Integrity Commissioner asks for some help.
Beresford indicated that additional recommendations could soon be forthcoming. News. Leota Bradshaw's lawyers request crucial documents for Over the last, I'd say, 5 years, we have made certain recommendations to Parliament with respect to strengthening areas with respect to our investigation processes. Issues concerning our very independence, how that can be strengthened, is something that we have advanced, and then we have to also consider the new and emerging issues and challenges that we face now. A lot of the problems that we have, Parliament needs to act to ensure that it does not continue, he said. Without outlining specific legislative changes, Beresford suggested that recent developments involving the Commission had exposed weaknesses that lawmakers should address. By Bolo. Promoted links you may like. Why is everyone rushing to get their hands on this new air cooler? News of the discovery. We can't have an integrity commission that is established to do what it is expected to do based on the legislation, and then we're prevented from doing it effectively. So it's really analyzing the problems as they manifest themselves and seeing how best we can fix those problems. And you will notice I have not been too specific, and that is intentional, but we do have recommendations in our annual reports, and I can assure you there will be more recommendations coming now, based on what we see happening, he added. One of the most contentious issues surrounding the Integrity Commission Act remains the so-called gag clause, which prohibits the Commission from publicly discussing investigations before reports are formally tabled in Parliament. The provision has generated significant debate in recent years, with critics arguing that it limits transparency and prevents the Commission from correcting misinformation or explaining aspects of its work when matters become the subject of intense public discussion. During the press conference, the issue was raised with Dr. Roger Corenting, advisor and head of public sector governance at the Commonwealth Secretariat, who was asked whether similar restrictions exist in other anti-corruption regimes across the Commonwealth. The gag clause, as you mentioned, is always part of the Commonwealth tradition or the UK tradition, and it's for a good reason, he said. He argued that the restrictions are intended to protect the reputation of individuals who may be under investigation, but have not been found guilty of any wrongdoing. You see, when somebody is under investigation, that doesn't mean that the person has been convicted, and you are talking about people's integrity, what they have built for years. So when you are investigating the person, I think it's important to maintain that reputation of that person, because once it gets out there, and in the event that the person was not found culpable, what have you done to that reputation that you have built over 30 years, 20 years? Corenting said. He noted, though, that some jurisdictions provide mechanisms for the courts to permit disclosure where there is sufficient public interest. However, if individual anti-corruption agents or the Integrity Commission think that that gag clause should be lifted, again, there is a provision for them to go to court for the court to lift it. I've seen it in various countries, particularly the developed countries like Australia, New Zealand, and the UK, where they protect the gag. But sometimes the court can allow you to lift it, he said. 0 comments. Make a comment. Also on...
So, I really wanted to finish that article. But one of the things he said in the last part of the article, if the government really wants the Integrity Commission to establish itself based on, see there, we can't have an Integrity Commission that is established to be established to do what it's expected to do based on the legislation, and then we are prevented from doing it effectively. So it's really analyzing the problem as it manifests them, as they manifest themselves, and seeing how best we can fix those problems. Jamaica, this government has no intention of fixing the problems of the Integrity Commission. They want to use those same problems that they passed. They are the ones that passed the law, to use it against the Integrity Commission to discredit them, destroy them, and remove them. Period. Period. This is the assassination attempt by the government. I am telling you, based off the evidence, this is an assassination attempt by the government. The first attack they did was Everald Warmington, talking about the amount of money and audit and all of these things. Secondly, was trying to remove the what's the young lady's name? The Auditor General, Mrs. Pamela Monroe Ellis. You hear me? I call her young lady. And you know she here, she flattered, because she probably older than me. But anyway, all I'm saying is this. They tried to remove the lady from the Integrity Commission, knowing the Integrity Commission needed her for her expertise in these levels of investigation. She is world-renowned, ladies and gentlemen. So they have strategically used Oceanwide to attack the Integrity Commission. Yes, but we're going to go to the famous, entrance from Mr. Panton in the Parliament. Remember this?
Thank you very much for the kind welcome. I need to make an apology on behalf of Mrs. Monroe Ellis, who happens to be on a work assignment overseas. It's something that had been rescheduled because of an earlier date that had been agreed for this meeting. And when our meeting date was changed, she had to reschedule for yesterday, where she was going. And she's returning today, but not in time for us to have her here. I want to introduce the members of the commission who are present, the other members, Mr. Justice Hibbert, Mr. Eric Crawford, and Mr. Wayne Powell sitting behind. And of course, there is the Executive Director, Mr. Christie, and the other directors. Now, before introducing the report which we have already sent, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to say that the commissioners have noted over the past couple of years that remarks have been made that the commission is partisan and that the commission, that there is malice in its operations. I'd just like to point out that the persons who made those statements know that it is not true. They know that we know it is not true. And they know that Jamaicans know that it is not true. There's a situation where 70% of the persons on the voters list do not vote. And it is startling that it could be suggested that the 5 commissioners happen to be partisan. So we reject that. In terms of our performance,
Jamaica, I don't know if you appreciate, and I think you should appreciate. Now I see why lawyers use certain terminologies when they are articulating themselves. Yes? I would like for you guys to appreciate the level of wit, how he crafted his opening. Jamaica, honestly, when you look at the pool of people in Jamaica, 70% of Jamaica, maybe 60 now, they are not die-hearted. They don't really have any real full appreciation. How you doing on Saturday? Big up yourself, my darling. They really don't have no appreciation for any side of the government. You know? They look at them as both the same. You understand? So, a small body like the Integrity Commission, how could they come to the conclusion that these individuals are just against the JLP? And the same narrative was spread by Warmington again. So they have continued this narrative and continue to put the lives of the Integrity Commission members in danger. They are setting up these people. Right? The man says straight 70% of Jamaica don't vote. So how you come to the conclusion and say these members of the Integrity Commission are on one side of the fence or the other? How dare you? Your argument is fruitless. It holds no substance. You remember good. And we know that you know that it's not true. And they know that the public know that it's not true. It's just a 20% of Jamaica will support Labour right. Believes that the Integrity Commission is for the PMP. You know? Because the evidence itself don't suggest that. Right? Michael Phillips was charged. Other members of the PMP were charged. You know what? You never heard them come out and say anything against the Integrity Commission. Then pay their money and go about their business. You never hear them say one negative word about the Integrity Commission. You see, really and truly in Jamaica, the Integrity Commission should get the respect that the JCF gets. You know. I'll say that again. The Integrity Commission should get the same respect from the government that the JCF gets. What do I mean? Well, you see how the government is reluctant to come out and say the JCF was wrong about this or that? They are very protective of the JCF. Even when there's video evidence to show that they're not credible, they still back them. But an entity like the commission gets all the smoke from the Jamaica Labour Party. Where a senior member, a most senior member, like Everett Warmington, continues to come out and attack the Integrity Commission. And guess what? Nobody can say nothing to him. Andrew Ones can't say nothing to him. Juliet Ones can't say nothing to him. And that tells me that they agree with him or they can't say nothing to him. Because I'm just big and bad like that and have them secret. Not true. He must have them secret. Remember when he was creating a fuss and then now you see him get position and him quiet and happy now. Was it $25 million a year, my mate? Bossy. Quiet and happy now, Jamaica. Him not bad for say. Him not an argument in a parliament. He not stand up against nothing. Him just quiet. Get him partner draw. Let's continue.
Performance over the years, we have on record from no one.
I just want to.
Emotional damage.
Our performance over the years, we have on record from no one higher than the Prime Minister that in 2020 he commended the Commission. From no one to have her here.
To firstly introduce his team and then, of course, to make his opening remarks.
Mrs. Meant overseas. It's something that had been rescheduled because of an earlier date that had been agreed for this meeting. And when our meeting date was changed, she had to reschedule for yesterday, where she was going. And she's returning today, but not in time for us to have her here. I want to introduce the members of the Commission who are present, the other members, Mr. Justice Hibbert, Mr. Eric Crawford, and Mr. Wayne Powell, sitting the other directors. Now, before introducing the report which we have already sent, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to say that the commissioners have noted over the past couple of years that remarks have been made that the Commission is partisan and that the Commission, that there is malice in its operations. I'd just like to point out that the persons who made those statements know that it is not true. They know that we know it is not true. And they know that Jamaicans know that it is not true. There's a situation where 70% of the persons on the voters list do not vote. And it is startling that it could be suggested that the 5 commissioners happen to be partisan. So we reject that. In terms of our performance over the years, we have on record from no one higher than the Prime Minister that in 2020 he commended the Commission in our Anti-Corruption Day celebration. He said, under the leadership of Chairman the Honourable Mr. Justice Seymour Panton, the Commission continues to distinguish itself, operating without fear or favour in pursuit of a just and corruption-free society. That was 2020. In 2022, he said that the Commission has done an outstanding job in increasing awareness and understanding of the anti-corruption framework. And as recently as December last year, he said, I am therefore pleased to note its work to expand public sensitization programs and improve investigative performance and technical proficiency, all of which represent a comprehensive approach to addressing corruption. I also commend the Commission's efforts to strengthen awareness and compliance, as well as its dedication to improving responsiveness, etc., etc. So let's
Help, we hear the ladder. We need your divine intervention. We're tired of the labor rights. We're tired of the green people. We are so far. We can't take it no more. We need this. We need this. We need it. Help. Help. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength. Is a liberator.
Continues to distinguish itself, operating without fear. He commended the Commission in our Anti-Corruption Day celebration. He said, under the leadership of Chairman the Honourable Mr. Justice Seymour Panton, the Commission continues to distinguish itself, operating without fear or favour in pursuit of a just and corruption-free society. That was 2020. In 2022, he said that the Commission has done an outstanding job in increasing awareness and understanding of the anti-corruption framework. And as recently as December last year, he said, I am therefore pleased to note its work to expand public sensitization programs and improve investigative performance and technical proficiency, all of which represent a comprehensive approach to addressing corruption. I also commend the Commission's efforts to strengthen awareness and compliance, as well as its dedication to improving responsiveness, etc., etc. So I just want, although I know that Jamaicans on the outside know that those statements made in this hall by parliamentarians are not true, although they know that, the words here go international. So for the record, I wanted to put on there what none other than the Prime Minister has said in relation to the work of the Commission. And I hope that puts to rest the question of partisanship and malice. As regards some other statements made in this room about giving orders, the Commission takes orders from no one other than the court, and it needs to be understood. The Commission takes orders from no one other than the court. Of course, there is God-given orders which we all obey. And I hope, Mr. Chairman, that the persons who were making those statements, that they will desist, because it fuels, such statements fuel a sort of mood among sycophants. And in the kind of society in which we live, we need to understand that persons should be very careful of what they say. There is a member of parliament who was actually, Mr. Chairman, sent out a document with the photographs of 4 of us saying that we are bringing down the government. Now, in this climate, for a member of parliament to be doing that, it's reprehensible. And I have not heard any parliamentarian condemn it. And they're sending out, there are parliamentarians sending out WhatsApp notes of all sorts of reprehensible things. And I hope that somebody will take the leadership to correct them. We on the Commission, we are committed to doing what the legislation permits us to do. That is what is happening. And it is not fair for the employees to be set in a stage where they can be set upon. So I trust that folks will realize that the reports that we send from the Integrity Commission, they are reports of facts. There are factual statements in the reports. Of course, there are recommendations attached to the reports which the law allows. The law says that the Director of Investigation may make recommendations. The recommendations that are made, the Parliament need not follow them. In fact, the Parliament in Jamaica has a history of recommendations being made by people who make reports, Commission of Inquiry, and the recommendations are ignored. So we understand that, and we should not really have a situation where we are being pilloried for doing what the legislation allows. Now, in relation to this annual report, Mr. Chairman, it was dispatched to the Parliament in late June. The letter that I signed sending it is dated the 24th of June. And I did notice that no sooner than the annual report left the offices of the Integrity Commission, no sooner than it left the offices, there were public broadcasts of it before it was tabled. And I noticed that it happened also with another report that was sent subsequently, and another report that was sent last week. Now, if it is thought that anyone in the Commission is leaking these reports, we would like it brought to our attention, we would like it investigated, because anybody in the Commission who leaks, if it's an employee, instant dismissal. But I find it strange that that all these things would be leaked immediately after it leaves the commission and sent to Parliament. I find it puzzling to understand if it is happening from the commission, why is it that it is delayed, the leak is delayed until it is sent away from the office. I cast no aspersions, but I want to add a personal note, Mr. Chairman, if you'll allow me, that back on this question of malice, I have been a lay preacher in the Methodist Church for decades. Malice is not in my makeup, and it is not in the makeup of the commissioners. And there may be persons who need to repent, and they can join me at church, Providence Methodist, any Sunday. I don't know if something is wrong with the water in Parliament, why some people, the moment they get into Parliament, they say certain things and behave a certain way. I don't know if that is it. As a result, I decided that I wasn't going to take the chance of drinking any water here. Another feature, Mr. Chairman, which I'm very serious about, is that because of what has been happening, I personally intend to see if I can meet with Senator Longmore, Doctor, to have a word with her, because it may well be that she needs to have a word with some members of the House. And so I present to you, Mr. Chairman, the 6th annual report, which has been compiled in keeping with
Jamaica, when I tell you that this man scolded the entire Jamaica Labour Party with the utmost level of respect, beat them bad, every word come like a verse and one symphony. Every single word the man said a while ago. The man said the commission takes orders from nobody but the court. No politician can order around the integrity commission. How in the hell that must happen? I investigate you or you forgive me orders. You're damn out of order. But that's what this government wants to do. They want an integrity commission that they can control. Don't work that way. That's not how oversight and accountability works. This government doesn't want to answer to nobody, not even you, the people of Jamaica. Them glad see every 5 years they don't have to vote. Because if I did shorter than that, they would have to work harder. Them come and then go to one KFC and want 5 grand, and that is it. Some clothes on the back. Hey, me don't know what to do it, you know? No boy. Me not take no clothes on nobody. And that may I tell you, no politician can give me no clothes. Must be mad. If me feel so excited and fanatic, me just listen, me can't find one tailor here. Yeah. I'll get myself and do me little thing and customize you want it. But me not accept no clothes from nobody, brother. Yeah, man, we bag of Eve where people might go on it on the earth right now. Me don't want no clothes from nobody, brother. Right now, me need to just clothes from a certain brand much less. Because all the brand them are work witchcraft. You never know? The top brand them, enough of them are work witchcraft. That's why them clothes always are sell. Me not even want clothes from them, bro. That me I try to tell you. That's how deep and serious the thing is. Walk on ice cold. What's going on? You see. You're not even coming from the life and tell me hi. You're not going good at all. From what you see coming from the life, but you're not tell me hi. You're not, hi, Bolo, how you doing? No look at nothing. You just said you watch me and listen to me. And if you watch me right now, I don't say you're asking half a tea. But big up yourself. Millicent said, thank you, Bolo. I am glad I'm here to learn this because I was wondering what's going to happen. No, I'm telling you, you're lucky. Me never find the Hansard. Yes, when me find the Hansard, I can read it to you to show you which politician did say what about the Integrity Commission report and show you say the level of discussion that was there as to what is the what you call it, the gaps them in the legislation. They know exactly what they were doing in Jamaica. So now for them to come now and attack the Integrity Commission, they are cowards, they are hypocrites and they are deceivers, they are snakes. Them are parasite, them know exactly the shortfalls of the Integrity Commission Act. And they know all them have to do is fix it, you know? That's all. But they want to destroy the Integrity Commission. You understand? And let me tell you something. It's a good thing that them fully done, you know. You know, me I lean more towards where Rasta man say about them, you know. Jamaica, you know, so them fully done to you. Let me tell you why I say that. You know this act and the capabilities of the act. You read it, you debate it. And then some years later, 2018, wow. 6 years later, right? You sue the Integrity Commission and said that the part that for the illicit enrichment, it's unconstitutional. It would mean that you didn't read the legislation when you passed it. As the Prime Minister of Jamaica, you passed a legislation that you think is unconstitutional, a portion of it. How can you trust this man? He's incompetent. He's obviously incompetent. Imagine you have one driver who are blind and a drive the blurred truck of law. That is Andrew Wallace. He is the chief legislator of the land, lawmaker, and he put an act in place, right, with the rest of the cabinet and decided that this is final. And then when the act start work now, he must sue the same Integrity Commission and I tell the judge, say, Reggie, this part of the act is unconstitutional. What the hell can go so? Oh, by the way, in the last, 6 years, he had every opportunity to amend the law. Yo, you can't make this up. In the last, Mr. The man had every opportunity to amend the law in the last 6 years. However, he sued. He had every opportunity to put it in front of them to amend the law. But you see, when you're focused on other things, that's the other thing too. Not only is he incompetent, Andrew Wallace as a leader, he's preoccupied with other extracurricular activities. You know what I'm saying? Him and the girls them bubble gum. Me and the girls them bubble gum. You know how him said that? I do him have one full wife and picnic. My girls them bubble gum. What a crying shame. No man, he was preoccupied with other extracurricular activities. Blacker, don't mix me up. Don't mix me up. Foxy D, big up yourself. Don't mix me up. I never said that. He was preoccupied with other extracurricular activities. That's why I'm going to lead and note say, this thing I need to fix. You hear much years Mr. Pantan say, oh, I'm a big up the Integrity Commission and how them do great. 2 minutes later, suing them to remove the illicit enrichment portion of the act. That is the nucleus of the act. The man does not want to be held accountable, ladies and gentlemen. We have a fox in the hen house. We have a big rat with adhesive fingers in the hen house. The whole of the egg them are teeth. And you know egg expensive. Huh? And in this case, when I talk about egg, I talk about the law. You have lawmakers that we can't even trust. Man, this is a conundrum. We need Jesus. We need Jesus, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, the only way to fix our country if Jesus have to put on your foot in this blouse and skirt. I tell you that right now. No joke. Me not see no other way. The man them is so powerful. The man them is so powerful. I don't see any other way to fix this country but Jesus Christ. I put him on in our place. Where you say, hold on your what? Hold on to your mom's chicken, Bolo. Yeah. Hey, madam, cuckoo, madam. Hold on to your chicken, cuckoo. Cuckoo, they in bed, you can't stay there. Yo, me not tell you no lie. Jamaica. This boy, me have to play this song again, yeah, man. No, sir. Oh, me I tell you, yeah, man. Anytime I think about it. Right now, you have animal with have one roof over their head and you have people in Jamaica with a roof over their head. Think about that. The more I think about life, you know, sometimes still in the room and my mind just go to certain things and I just meditate and I say, yo, hold it, me have to give thanks for still. I dare not complain. I have so much things to give thanks for. And then, you know, and then when I look upon it, I look upon what one of the people in Virgin. And I tell them. But what's your name? What that lady name? The heroine. She said, I could have saved many more slaves if only they knew they were slaves. Sometimes I some feel that they are upon the happy attack too, you know. We could have freed so many more slaves if only they knew they were slaves. So many people out there. Them trapped mentally. You understand? Them don't even realize that they are being used and abused. The trickle up effect. You ever hear about that? They have the trickle down effect. In this case, it's the trickle up effect. Where you vote in these individuals to give them access. For full up their owner pocket and them baby mother pocket and them girlfriend pocket, them market me pocket, them man pocket. Huh? Every 5 years, what? KFC? And 5 grand and 10 grand and 50 grand. I don't business it, then go to $100 million. When sell out. Sell out to the generation them to come. When some selfish cunt. Let me go and look and see if there's any I don't feel like I have to go live tonight. If I even briefly. Later on, maybe 12 o'clock or so. I have to take a break. But let me see if there's anything going on over here. Wanna watch London 45. London 45 got far now, wake up. I said, Mr. Oldness. I said, me nearly dead for me a 1 year. I nearly dropped down Budo. No, such too much, man.
You may end up depending on their health system for medication and so on. They don't want you.
People, you know, so I have to go get Rumble though. I have to start talking about Rumble, you know, because you see, the stuff that I talk about now, I notice that YouTube, some strange things are going on from YouTube. Nothing makes sense to me having a page that is fully active every day. 3, 4, 5, 6 videos. Short videos. I go live and I can't get 300 people on the live. Lady G, what's up? I've been on for 4 hours and I haven't gotten 100 person on Bolo VNR 2.0. That's very strange. No, it is not. Me go live every minute I do and test it. Random. Me used to go live random and me get 200 odd people on the live. Just random. Me just go on the live. Me not even set no time. I'm there on the road and I talk on the road and 200 people are watching me. Something is intrinsically wrong. I know so them attack my page. I know it. I know it that they're attacking my page. And I think I have to go on a different platform. I'm telling you, me cannot water down my message. But I have to change the platform. Alright? So I don't know if you guys want to join me over by when they call that something there. Oh my god. What's your name again, man? Oh my days. What's it called? It's not Rumble. It's another one where people pay membership to go on it. Let me feel like I'm going to do that. Because to be quite honest with you, guys, that's why I'm sure a variety of content, like what the prophet them have said. Because there are certain things where we have a prepare, You understand what I deal with? Patreon. Thank you so much, Lady G. That's the name, Patreon. I have to start using Patreon. Things that I want to talk about, I can't talk about on this because there's certain, the devil is, you see on TikTok, the devil fully active. The devil fully active on TikTok. Are one of the most demonic space them. On the internet. One of the most demonic space them on the internet at TikTok. Guess who are on TikTok now? When you remember when Andrew go on the wall? Good. That's why I don't like TikTok. That's why I tell them to come over to my YouTube. But right now, me have an exodus over Patreon. So all like people over there in the diaspora get to know on a credit card, A Patreon, Yeah man, we upload over Patreon, man. Patreon the thing there. Still I go put out content over here, so but the realest are the real. Patreon. Patreon me I go. Straight. It don't make no sense, brother. It don't make no sense. You know what me I wait for? Me I wait for July. You see, if something supposed to happen July, me can't say it on the internet. But something supposed to happen July on my platform. You see, if my platform, Bolo VNR 2.0, don't spring up back like one flower, then me know say done. They definitely do something. Yeah, I'm telling you. That's gonna tell me everything I need to know. On that day, me have it for me something. I mean, I look on it right now. From me something. They call it studio. When that day they free up, if me not see one change, you know that the thing gone, the thing fully gone. But listen, I'm gonna leave it right there, so at 9:13, and as me said, I'm gonna come back about 12 o'clock. I'm gonna try to keep it about 2.5 hours. Try to be as efficient as possible. Come off by live and do everything. Oh, Bolo TVV, you not gonna win enough. Cause you know it go. You know how it go. No man on a Telegram, man. Somebody said Telegram. As a matter of fact, you know what? Me have any live on Bolo TVV because later on, I'm gonna run the marathon, go straight in the morning. See? Yeah. So look more on my side. May I play the song for you one more time? I saw the song no copyright. Me get the words, so me feel comfortable. I play it every day now. Never know. Fully.
10 years, you say. 10 long years and look how Jamaica stay.
type. Wanna be type, man. Eh? What you say? Borrow your phone and do it. No, them for type, and them for type in the chat and say hi. And interact. You know, so them thing that help the live stream too. When you guys comment in the comment section, it help the live stream, you know. It send all the thing to the algorithm, you know. Say stop my go on right there, say, you know. The people them engage, you know. When you just watch me and don't say nothing, that also hurt the stream too. Me notice that me have beer silent watcher. Sassy the biggest one, me I call her out. Sassy type one time high Bolo, and that's it. She might not even be there right now, and she just somewhere do something. I'll probably have a cook or something in the house. Bolo pick her name, and then I see her one time. Me I call her out. And the next thing too, them I watch 3 different smarty one time. Them I watch me right now. Them I watch Andre and whoever else live. Every phone I run. I appreciate it. Same way. But I would like to have the engagement of the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Yes? So let's get to 50K likes on TikTok. And get the, send some gifts if you can. Spice up the live and show some appreciation for this live stream. I'm going to come right out today, with the learning session, Yes, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's get into the music before I leave.
10 years, you say. 10 long years and look how Jamaica stay. No light, no road, no food, pan we plate. People are suffer while Andrew live great. You stand up on the platform, smile wide and proud. I tell we about prosperity, but we can't see it all now. Hurricane come through and left the people bare. 6 months later, them still out. Asleep under the air. Your JLP friends them build high rise, road still full of holes. School roof a leak, but you and Juliet well fed. You always have excuse, always pass the blame. Every time something wrong, it never go in your name. Jamaica a drown and you claim you're unclean. Biggest actor in the politics we ever see. Wholeness, time to go, time to go. The people, we say no. 10 years and we can't take no more, you know, hear us. We are not on the door. Wholeness, time to go, time to go. From Kingston to Level, the people said so. We tired, we hungry, we done, we show. Wholeness, time to go. Farmer can't afford to plant food, price reach the sky. You bring in the poverty while your own people cry. We born ya, we grow ya, we bleed for this land. But Andrew at the top won't extend the man. You talk about vision, you talk about plan. But 10 years later we still can't understand. Corruption report London, nobody charge. The people pocket small but the scandal them large. Who's crack up parish council bro? Country suffocate down and it just smoke. And when we raise the voice so call we political. But the truth is the truth and the truth is biblical. Oh yes, time to go. Time to go. The people, yes and no. We say no. 10 years and we can't take no more, you know hear us. We are not on the door. Oh yes, time to go. Time to go. From Kingston to Negri, the people say so. We tired, we hungry, we done with the show. Oh yes, our time to go. We no want no hype, we no want no speech. We want action, no, not the lies you preach. Hurricane victims still under tarpaulin. Prime Minister fly gone foreign. Your JLP cabinet full, but the people cupboard empty. Oh, you live so large when we live in so scanty. Not with fists, not with fire, but with voice them rising higher and higher. From every parish, every yard, every gate, Jamaica speaking and I know too late.